Thank you, Reese. Our weather, beautiful for a game that defines the arrival of a new season. There are 4 words that can wake up echoes, hail conquering heroes, and shine a light on the best of college football. 4 words that turn summer into autumn. Notre Dame versus Michigan. 2 giants who first clashed way back in 1887. For over a century, mud-covered Golden Domers have tussled with the guts and glue of the maize and blue. Epic battles, punctuated by legendary names.
On the end zone, touchdown, Michigan!
And now, for just the second time in history, the Big House will light up the night sky for a celebrated rite of fall. The final chapter of these 2 storied programs in this spectacular setting. And it begins, as always, with those 4 simple words. Notre Dame versus Michigan. Welcome to ESPN College Football Prime Time, presented by Hampton Hotels. You are looking live at the biggest house, Michigan Stadium, the largest stadium in college football, and more than 110,000 tonight prepared for Under the Lights 2. Good evening and welcome everybody to Kirk Herbstreit. I'm Brent Musburger. Thanks for dropping by tonight. And Herbie, we were here for Under the Lights 1. We should be so lucky tonight.
There's been talk about this. Is this a great rivalry? Is it not? I just watched the tease you just did. I got chills. It's a great rivalry. That's all I can say about it. That's great to be here again for hopefully another great chapter here in Ann Arbor.
Our quarterback matchup tonight's interesting. 2 years ago, Tommy Rees, he had a great game against Michigan. Didn't start a year ago, but now he's back as the Notre Dame starter.
And I think that's the thing that gets overlooked. When they lost Everett Golson, they lost his mobility, his leadership from a year ago. But Tommy Rees, we remember him last year stepping in at times and filling in. But tonight's his 20th career start. He started here, as you said, a couple years ago, threw for over 300 yards. I think his composure will be big. Look at his face. That'll be his expression the entire night. The road, the crowd, Greg Madison's defense, they'll try to rattle him. He's got to keep his composure, avoid the disastrous play, and then when he gets his one-on-one opportunities, which he's going to get, he's got to capitalize, and his receiver's going to have to beat some man-to-man coverage.
And then, of course, on the other side, Devin Gardner starting for Michigan. He was the wide receiver when they opened the season a year ago.
He sure was, and he was a good one. I mean, not only did he just step out there, but he was the best receiver, really, that they had on their roster. We had him early in the year against Alabama, and he scored a touchdown. And I think he was starting to become more and more comfortable in that role. Once Denard Robinson got hurt, he had to make the switch, and he did a great job. Last 5 games of the year playing quarterback. Here's the thing. Al Borges, the offensive coordinator at Michigan, he's kind of a pro-style offensive coordinator. Now he has a quarterback to be able to execute his style of offense. He's had an entire offseason to get him ready. Tonight we find out truly how good Devin Gardner and Al Borges can be together in this system.
And Herbie, just a short time ago, a very special ceremony down at the middle of the field. Another number for the Michigan legend, and that is Mark Harmon, the son of the great and late Tom Harmon, who wore number 98. And while wearing that number, won Michigan's first Heisman Trophy. Now that number will come back for the first time since 1940. And tonight, one of the Michigan players will be honored. He will wear number 98 for the rest of his career. So inside, Brady Hoke now talking to the Michigan Wolverine team as they are preparing to dash out onto the field and touch that banner. What's interesting here, Herbie, is that Brady telling us that, you know, he comes out last. And he said, I miss all the pomp and circumstance. When I was an assistant coach, I used to see the band come on.
He takes it all in. He loves this university. He's done a great job in getting them back to kind of their roots. I've been in that tunnel, and I can tell you, when you're a visitor, there's a lot of energy, And it's a very, very intimidating atmosphere. And with what they've done here in the last couple of years, it's gotten that much more intimidating.
So the players are now filing out. And they will make that wonderful run, touching the banner as they come through. We'll see what kind of hops Coach Brady's got tonight.
I know he's going to get up and hit it. I know he's got it in.
Here they come. There, ladies and gentlemen, is number 98. And yes, it is the quarterback. Devin Gardner gave up number 12 because he was honored by wearing Tom Harmon's famous 98 here tonight. There was Coach Brady, a little hop.
He got up there. He's ready. It's official. It's game on.
You know, it's just a shame that this is the last time we're going to see this rivalry here in Ann Arbor for the foreseeable future. They'll close it out completely in South Bend. Hopefully Notre Dame and Michigan will find a way to come back together. Right now, let's go down below for more on that story to Heather Cox. Heather?
Brent, as you said, this is the final chapter of this rivalry here in the Big House. It will conclude in entirety next year in South Bend. Hard to believe that these two teams first met back in 1887. Many believe this is one of the great rivalries in college football. So why is it coming to an end? Well, it's about realignment. Notre Dame has most of its sports going to the ACC. Football will remain independent, but they promised 5 ACC games a year. And Coach Kelly admitted to me he has just 2 priorities with scheduling. It's about recruiting and it's about strength of schedule. And of course, things got a little bit spicy between these two coaches when Coach Hoke said he thought Notre Dame was, quote, chickening out, to which Coach Kelly replied, hey, I always thought this was a bit of a regional rivalry. Well, guys, whether they're opting out or chickening out, no doubt this rivalry will be missed.
Indeed, Heather. Thank you very much. Just a wonderful scene here in Ann Arbor tonight. More than 110,000. Our kickoff is coming up next. But first, let's take a look inside Nissan's Heisman House.
ESPN College Football Primetime, brought to you by Nissan, premier partner of the Heisman Trophy, and the Samsung Galaxy S4. The next big thing is here.
3 Heisman Trophy winners from Michigan as you look down on our scene for this marvelous September rivalry. Michigan and Notre Dame. And our rivalry recap is brought to you by Star Trek Into Darkness on Blu-ray Combo Pack. Michigan leading the overall series. And of course the Wolverines with the most wins in FBS history. And Notre Dame sitting in 3rd. And 2 years ago that classic 35-31. Michigan shocking Notre Dame. Brady Hoke is down below with Heather, so let's go to Heather.
Brent, thanks so much. Coach, you're seconds away from kicking off in one of college football's oldest rivalries. What did you tell your team about the importance of tonight's game?
How blessed we are to be here. You look at this crowd, you know, probably 115,000, passion on both sides, 2 great football programs and great teams. It's going to be a lot of fun.
And the last 2 years in this game, they've really been decided by the quarterback. What do you need from Devin Gardner tonight?
Take care of the football. Realize there's 10 other guys on offense who are going to help him out. We're going to play good defense, and the kicking game will be steady.
Certainly fun to see him in that special 98 jersey. Coach, thank you.
Thank you.
Brent?
All right, Heather. And Herbie, I don't know about you, but I can't remember ever seeing a big-time quarterback wearing a number like 98.
Never. I mean, never, ever. And you're saying he's going to wear that? Not just tonight.
The rest of the season and next year, he's his.
Wow.
You know, they honor 21 because of Desmond Howard.
Sure.
And Gallen, the wide receiver.
Gerald
he wears
Ford.
that. Jeremy, that's number 48 over there on that side. Desmond Morgan wears that. If you want to take a look at the legendaries, there they are. The Wister brothers, and there were 3 of them, and they were outstanding football players. Vinny Oosterbrand was a great coach when he played for 47. Jake Ryan, the injured linebacker, still wearing that. Ron Kramer, one of the great tight ends of all time. Devin Funches wears his number. So tonight, Gardner will honor Tom Harmon, number 98. And of course, across the way, he doesn't care about Michigan legends. He wants to keep the success story going with Notre Dame. He'll have the ball first. The Irish will receive. Matt Weil will kick it off. And George Atkinson is the ace return man for the Fighting Irish. So to come out on the 25-yard line, Herbie, for Tommy Rees, a senior from Lake Forest, Illinois. You know, last week against Temple, very efficient, 16-23 for 346 yards, 3 touchdowns.
And what he's known for is his poise, and he's going to need that tonight in this environment. The other thing he's known for is how quickly he can process the information, recognizing defenses, getting the line checked and the protection checked, and then getting the ball out and finding a matchup that he likes. So let's keep an eye on him. Remember, the quarterback that avoids the disastrous play tonight will be the team that wins the game.
Michigan's base 4-3 defense. Atkinson swinging wide to the left. Made the most of that run, picking up 7 yards as he got around the left side. Herbie, as we check in now on our Chick-fil-A impact players, and we've got good ones on both sides of the ball.
We sure do. From time to time, Michigan will blitz, and they'll play man-to-man. And that's when T.J. Jones and Tavares Daniels, the receivers on the outside, will get matched up one-on-one against Blake Countess or Ramon Taylor. Who wins that battle? Last week, we saw Reese make some big plays in that pass game.
They go to the pistol, and Amir Carlisle, the transfer from USC, was a running back. Too high and a little bit behind the receiver, Jones. Incomplete, and that will bring up third down. Blake Countess, and isn't it nice for you and I to see Blake Countess back on the field as a defensive back? He, of course, tore up a knee against Alabama a year ago.
First game of the year, they were counting on him to hold down one spot, and as you said, he tore the knee up against Bama, worked his tail off to get back, and now he's back in the starting lineup for the Wolverines.
A year ago, they'd have been looking for Tyler Eifert. Ben Koyak is your tight end. And they're going to try to run it, nothing doing. Penetration by the big defensive front of Michigan. Frank Clark, once a high school safety, penetrated.
Watch the quickness right here and how quickly he's able to shoot through this gap on third down. Just uses his quickness and speed, and that's the area Frank Clark's put some weight on. He started out at 230. It's early in his career. He's up to 273, but great quickness there to make the play.
A great punter in high school. Here's Kyle Brenza. Dennis Norfleet, the quickman. He makes the fair catch at about the 32-yard line. And so now, number 98. If you just tuned in, folks, they're honoring Tom Harmon's retired number. They don't retire numbers at Michigan anymore. They honor players who they think deserve to wear this number. And so here you are, your quarterback, wearing Tom Harmon's old number.
6'4", 210 pounds. He'll escape, but the difference between he and Denard Robinson, when he escapes, he's looking to make a big play in the pass game. He does a good job of keeping his eyes downfield.
Fitzgerald Toussaint, Fitz as they call him, back as the running back. He gets the first carry. Of course, he also tore up a knee, and he too has worked hard to get back. And let's take a look, Herbie, at this side now. Our Chick-fil-A impact players here tonight.
We're going to look in the trenches because Notre Dame has two of the best in the country. Stephon Tuitt, Lewis Nix. We've seen them play a few years. Taylor Lewan, he got a lot of attention in his matchup last year in the bowl game against Jadeveon Clowney. And then you have a young sophomore, Jack Miller, the center, who's going up against Nix. A big matchup in the interior of Michigan's offensive line.
2nd and 10. Gardner's first pass of the night is complete for 8 yards. Jake Butt, a freshman tight end from Pickerington, Ohio, and they love what they see with this young man.
They brought a double blitz here. They brought the safety, and they also brought the linebacker, Calabrese. Calabrese actually almost got there. Nice job by Gardner. He knew that Calabrese got through, kept his eyes downfield, and saw Jake Butt, the true freshman.
And Gardner taking a blow from Calabrese. 3rd down and 2. Nix gets over the center. First year as the starter is Jack Miller. Gets off a perfect snap. Throwing, great grab for the first down. Drew Dillio makes the grab and the chains move. You folks, if you haven't seen Devin Gardner, and Herbie and I have watched him, I'm going to tell you, he can throw the football. He can hum it.
He does, and it's usually a tight spiral, which makes an opportunity like this for Dillio, 3rd down. And the way the coaches described him to us, they said he's kind of a Wes Welker type, not to put that kind of pressure on him, but he's a slot receiver. They give him option routes, rely on him to beat him, his man in man-to-man coverage. Notre Dame, again, another blitz that time, and Gardner gets the ball out quickly.
Ball out at the 46-yard line. And they bring that end around Dennis Norfleet with that speed. And he is wrestled out of bounds that time by Jarrett Grace, number 59.
Michigan just trying to outflank this Notre Dame defense, and these Michigan wide receivers are about as good as you're going to see at blocking. I thought Jarrett Grace, as you said, big and athletic out of Cincinnati, Ohio, 250 pounds, but he's got great lateral quickness. And that time he just chased that play down, and that's asking a lot to chase down Dennis Norfleet.
2nd and 8 with the Wolverines using the 2 tight end formation right now. Play action. Gardner fires complete for another first down. He's thrown for 2 first downs already. Joe Reynolds, the senior from Rochester, Michigan, making that grab.
And this is where you work in the offseason. This is all about timing. Play action. He throws his football. Look at the pressure again. Sheldon Day is getting in there, throws the ball. The timing is perfect this time, and a really nice route by Joe Reynolds. You can see by the time he came back to the football, it was already in the air. His quarterback had to get rid of the ball because Notre Dame put the pressure again on Devin Gardner. You can tell Notre Dame, that's their answer to his speed. Bring pressure.
They're bringing the double reverse this time. Gallen, Jeremy Gallen got the corner for another first down.
Brent, you and I love to see quarterbacks. Maybe there's something about him wearing 98, but I love to see him block on the reverse, trying to get this overflowing defense. Look at Gardner, 98. Is it the number? Is it going back to his old wide receiver days? Love to see Gardner involved in trying to open this up.
Al Borges has opened up his playbook, Herbie. Speaking of opening up things, he's had 1 end around, now the double reverse. Now it's a first down on the other side of the 30-yard line, and they come back with the running back. So Toussaint was the ball carrier that time, his 2nd carry, and Elijah Shoemate, the safety, up to make the play for the Irish.
Remember, the thing about Notre Dame's defense last year and what they're counting on this year is you're gonna move the ball, but last year they really squeezed down when you moved into their territory, and it was almost, they became more aggressive. The windows got tighter. Michigan's aware of that, and they're gonna have to make some pass plays down in this area.
Dennis Norfleet is now the tailback. They run the toss. Yeah, he picks up almost 3 yards on that play. One of the things, Herbie, that Borges is doing is trying to slow that rush down by getting to the outside here early.
No doubt, and they're flowing so fast. Here's a true freshman. We've watched him this week on tape. Last week, people said, boy, he looks quick. What a great future. Jalen Smith makes a great play getting off of the block by Jeremy Jackson and makes the play in the open field. That's a true freshman, folks, and a great player.
It's a big 3rd down now. Gardner has to throw this one away. Was under enormous pressure, and Austin Collinsworth all over the quarterback, number 28. And Gardner threw it away.
They come right through the middle, and Gardner tries to use his speed, but Collinsworth is right there, exactly where he needs to be. The one thing they've studied is Gardner will try to get to the outside. Bob Diaco, the defensive coordinator, put Collinsworth in perfect position that time to not allow him to escape the pocket.
Now here's your story. Brendan Gibbons has 14 straight consecutive field goals. That ties Remy Hamilton, who's here tonight. This is a 44-yarder to make it 15 straight. This would be a Michigan record, and he's got it. 15 consecutive field goals for Brendan Gibbons, the senior from West Palm Beach, Florida. Notre Dame, though, stopped him short of a touchdown. Aerial coverage provided by Goodyear. Everything Goodyear has learned making tires that go the distance inspires what they roll into yours. Goodyear, more driven. George Atkinson, one of the fastest players on this Notre Dame team, would love to get a kickoff return, but Wild burying that ball in the end zone. And again, it'll come out of the 25 for an update. Let's go to the studio, and here's Reese Davis.
Brent, time for our Taco Bell Live Moss moment. UAB and LSU, Zach Mettenberger finding Odell Beckham. Those two have hooked up a couple of times tonight. That game is on ESPNU right now, and LSU just had a nice punt return to set up another scoring opportunity on the U late in the first.
All right, Ray's keep us up to date on that one. Cam Cameron, the new offensive coordinator at LSU, certainly appears to have made a big difference. Here, the Wolverines on their first drive of the evening settle for the field goal. This is Notre Dame's second drive. Atkinson is the running back alongside Reese. Quick flick to Daniels on the outside. Frank Clark again, who has been very active here early on.
Clark has tremendous athletic ability, and if Michigan doesn't bring pressure, where they bring 5 or more, then they've got to rely on guys like Frank Clark and Jabril Black both getting pressure. Tommy Reese will get the ball out of his hands quickly tonight, and the big thing I want to see is how his receivers can break away, or can they break away from Michigan's defensive backs.
Carlisle checks back in as a running back, and from the pistol, he'll go right straight up the gut behind Nick Martin, Christian Lombard, and Chris Watt. James Ross, an explosive defensive player, making that stop.
Talked this week to Brian Kelly about this new pistol look that Notre Dame has been hanging their hat on, and Tommy Reese doesn't have the mobility of an Everett Golson, but they love the downhill run out of the pistol. Just like you'd be under center, but it gets Reese away from center, allows him to be able to view the defense a lot better and be able to make better reads.
They move Reese up under center, and he starts the motion with his right foot and does hand off, and Carlisle is stopped short. On that 3rd and 2, he did not get it.
That's what this rivalry, Brent. He is short. You're right.
He may be ready to gamble. Let's see now. Here comes the punt team. For just a moment, I thought we were going to call Coach Kelly the riverboat gambler over there. I thought he might shake the dice, but here comes Brenza.
It looked like it was a little bit the exchange there. I think slowed Carlisle down and took away some of his momentum going into the line.
Brenza was hanging him high in practice. Does this again, and Norfleet fumbles the fair catch. Ball on the ground, but Michigan saves it. Now take a look at this. Ball free, but Norfleet quickly covers it up. So it'll be Wolverine ball when we come back.
ESPN College Football Primetime is presented by Hampton Hotels. Feel the Hamptonality. And in part by Toyota Care. Complimentary on every new Toyota.
And the newest legend here tonight, Tom Harmon, won a Heisman Trophy back in 1940. Old 98, and Devin Gardner has been honored with that. A quarterback with 98, and then a nose man, Louis Nix, wearing number 1. What's going on here tonight?
He said it's more slimming, makes him look a lot better.
He thinks that number 1 doesn't, right? I got news for the 350-pounder. He has not missed any meals. Toussaint Hill is a running back, and he is a fine nose man. Look at him get down there. That's a football rear end if you ever want to see him. Here's Toussaint now trying to bounce it outside. Smith making the stop. That is the Ballyhoo freshman, Jalen Smith.
You can see Brent Bob Diaco in that first series. He is very, very aggressive, trying to pressure Devin Gardner in passing situations here, bringing Shoemate and the linebacker Calabrese. But I really admire that Gardner feels the pressure, but he's still keeping his eyes downfield and making accurate throws. We'll see how this battle continues. Diaco, is he going to continue to pressure Gardner? And is Gardner going to be able to get the ball out as quickly as he has? Notre Dame's tightened up their coverage on the outside.
2nd and 9. And again, Toussaint trying to bounce it outside and finds a lane. Dashes for a first down. They didn't contain him coming down the sideline. Shoemate finally with a stop, but this is a very, very good run for 14 yards.
Nice patience here. He waits for this play to develop, and when you play man-to-man on the outside, and if you're front 7 and your safeties that are coming downhill, they miss a tackle, they blow an assignment, there's a big alley on the outside where that corner would have been. Nobody was out there, and the patience that time, I think, of Toussaint was the difference.
Now Borges continues to attack the wings here in this game. Play action from the pocket. Downfield strike wide open against the zone defense. Gallen breaks a tackle, comes free, heads in zone, forget about it. That's what bad tackling will do to a defense. A 61-yard touchdown on first down. Gardner to his go-to man of a year ago when he quarterbacked 5 games to close out the season, Jeremy Gallen. Puts it down, and Brendan Gibbons knocks down the extra point, up by 10. And folks, I think you've seen why the odds makers made Michigan a favorite in this football game. Notre Dame must answer. Welcome back to ESPN College Football Prime Time, presented by Hampton Hotels. A 3-play drive, and the Wolverines go out by 10 points behind Devin Gardner. Atkinson thought about it and then thought better about it.
But I think the tight end right here, Funchess, going in motion, creates headaches for Notre Dame's defense. You'll see Shoemate drop, but watch the coverage up here as well. See, the tight end goes in motion. Shoemate now makes a call. He's got to get back in coverage, but watch Notre Dame's defense. You got 2 defenders right here going to the flat. A safety gets caught up with the deep route by Chesson. Huge hole right there. And then as you said, Brent, I think you were as surprised as anybody. There's 4 Notre Dame defenders. Nobody makes the tackle. And then Chesson comes back and is able to pick up that last block. But 4 Notre Dame defenders right there. Nobody makes the tackle on Gallen. Those are things we just didn't see from this Notre Dame defense a year ago.
Yeah, absolutely. They had for their offense 3 and out on their first 2 drives. Here is Atkinson fine run, their best run from scrimmage of the night, as they pick up that first down this time with a 12-yard burst by George Atkinson.
You and I had the game last week with Georgia and Clemson, and every time Georgia would get down on the road, they would answer. And I think they started to believe that they had a chance to win. They ultimately lost the game, but this is a pivotal point in a rivalry game on the road, down 10. Quarterback that's been around, he's been in these kind of environments. It's important that he keeps his group believing that they're going to come back and win this game.
Cam McDaniel's turn, play action to him, fire far sideline, and that is complete for a first down to Corey Robinson, the son of the great basketball player David Robinson. Let's go to Heather.
Brent, something new for the Irish. Coach Kelly has actually delegated his offensive play calling to his offensive coordinator, Chuck Martin, for the first time in his career, though I did talk to Kelly on Tuesday, and he said he just can't stay out of it. He joked in the opener, I called all the touchdown plays, Chuck called all the stalled plays. But hey, Kurt, do you notice a difference up there in the play calling?
Well, right now, I think the communication is going to be big here. I think they're going to have to try to take some shots downfield. Michigan's defense is really squeezing these receivers.
Does fire deep, middle, got it complete. DeVaris Daniels.
You know, they've been running the football. They've been throwing a lot of short routes, and Michigan's starting, as I said, squeeze them. That is a really well-thrown ball and thrown on time into the seam between the safety and the corner. You're going to make that throw. You've got to throw it on time, and you've got to throw it with some velocity. A great read. Good job of processing the coverage and getting the ball out in a hurry by Tommy Rees.
So after the 22-yard gain, the ball is across the 30-yard line for this first down. Atkinson stays in the pass block. Overthrown. Daniels, you know, a week ago came up with a little slight groin injury, but the coaches told us he's going to be fine, and he's demonstrating to us tonight that he is coming out of his breaks well.
Wouldn't you agree, Brent, that it just looks like they've got more weapons now? I mean, in the past we would have these guys, and there was Michael Floyd, and there was Kyle Randolph, and there's Tyler Eifert last year. Now it's just, I don't think they have that guy. I think they have more of a group of guys at receiver and running back.
I agree. Jones, however, TJ could be a big-time wideout, for sure, as they run right straight ahead. Keith Heitzman, one of the rushmen for a coach. So, you know, Greg Madison uses about a dozen different defensive linemen, and he's already rotated a bunch here, and there is very outstanding defensive coordinator. Came back to Michigan from the Baltimore Ravens. They show blitz.
He's got man-to-man. He's got some opportunities here. He's got to find the matchup that he wants. He sees it.
3rd and 9, and brings Carlisle back into the backfield. He brought the pass protector in, helped pick up the rushman, and then does go to number 7. T.J. Jones, a week ago, 6 for 138 yards, and folks, he could wind up being a big-timer.
And that's a mismatch right here against Jared Wilson. Jared Wilson is a safety, and you get your best receiver and the one you have the most confidence in, and T.J. Jones on 3rd down, isolated one-on-one against a safety who's 6'2", 200 pounds. That's a gimme for Tommy Rees.
18 yards later, they come back with a hole on the right side for Amir Carlisle, and he bangs across the 5-yard line, so it's going to be 2nd and goal. Very important sequence here for the Irish.
Thomas Gordon leading the tacklers.
I know Chuck Martin's calling the plays, but you can be sure that man has a lot to do with what's happening, especially down in this territory with the score 10-0. And without Everett Golson running the show and his mobility and ability to run option down here, this is where we're going to start to see the identity of Notre Dame's offense in 2013.
Fade to the corner to Daniels, incomplete. In watching Rees, Herbie, and he's from a football family, you can see that he really understands the game. He brought a running back in on that completion to Jones to help pass protect. This time he moves a flex tight end over. He takes a look at the defense, and he knows what he's looking at out there and what kind of blocking he wants in front of him.
That's always really been his strength. is being able to recognize coverage and recognize blitzes and be able to adjust his personnel, slide the protection a certain way. Here's another big third down for Notre Dame.
A timeout by Brian Kelly. Running down to call the timeout from the sideline. So he might not be calling a few plays, but I will tell you right now, this man is in charge. Let's check in with Heather.
Yeah, Tommy Rees is in charge, but Everett Golson was in charge last year, and as you guys all know, not on the team this semester. Well, I talked to Everett Golson on the phone earlier today from San Diego, where he's training with quarterback coach George Whitfield. Guys, he was in good spirits, but he was really introspective, admitting that it's absolute torture watching his team from afar. And he's talked to many of his teammates this week. He feels they're ready. He also told me he's proud of Tommy Rees and how he's handled the situation with professionalism, and that he wants Tommy to go out the right way. And guys, Everett finished the conversation by saying to me, I'm humble. I'll be better for it. And this is really the quite minor setback for what will be a major comeback, and all intentions, Brett, of being the starting quarterback here at Notre Dame next year.
Yeah, Heather, we all pull for the young man, and that's terrific that you called him earlier today. He can enroll back at Notre Dame the next semester. So in January, he could be back in South Bend, and all of us are pulling for him to come back. Now it's up to Tommy Rees on this 3rd and goal. Fires. Yes, touchdown off the deflection, and Jones working in the back. Atkinson had a shot at it, number 4, and off of George, it was T.J. Jones coming along the inline who makes the ricochet catch.
Atkinson out of the backfield, the ball just goes right off of his hands, and there's T.J. Jones, the right man in the right place. I thought Atkinson had a chance to secure the football, but an alert T.J. Jones holds on to it and gets a pivotal touchdown for Notre Dame here in this game.
Senior from Roswell, Georgia. Went to Gainesville High School down there. Brenta, who's handling everything for Notre Dame, tacks on the extra point. What a huge drive that was.
975 yards.
Come create and calculate. Shatter both records and stereotypes. Build improbable machines and impossible medicines. Come because there is much to be done out there, and to be undone. Come believe in something greater than yourself. Put your grand imagination to work. Come join the leaders and best. The victors valiant. Come to Michigan.
Well, coming up at halftime, you won't want to miss a sneak peek of Eminem's new music video called Berserk. And folks, Marshall Mathers is going to join Herbie and me in the booth live. That's right. Marshall Mathers right here.
Great. Big fan.
How about that?
That's pretty cool.
A few Grammys coming in there. Academy Award. Sold a few records worldwide. I think it's over 100 million. Looking forward to talking to him. From the Detroit area. Detroit Lion fan, also likes the Dallas Cowboys, I've been told.
That makes for a heck of a Thanksgiving.
You got that. That's a long day.
2 for 1 there.
Norfleet and Dillio are back deep. It's Michigan's turn with Norfleet taking a knee, and it'll come out on the 25. And here comes number 98, Devin Gardner.
So far 5 of 6 for 87 yards and just in complete command. We talked early about Al Borges, and personally I love Denard Robinson. I know he's a star and a hero here, but he just didn't fit what Al Borges wants, and Devin Gardner does with his physical attributes, and that's what we've seen tonight. This offense is heading in a different direction with Gardner in charge.
He fit well enough 2 years ago.
Oh, without a doubt. He was electrified.
That 35-31
yeah,
win.
he was the man.
He hit Gallen with
down here at the
that pass play and set that up.
Yeah.
Hand off and only a couple of yards, and let's check in with Reese Davis. Reese.
Brent, Sports Center right now is brought to you by Ally Bank. Johnny Manziel leading Texas A&M against Sam Houston State. Johnny's thrown for 300 yards in the first half. Ijaquay Williams with that touchdown. 30-14 at the break. Aggies have Alabama next week.
So it's another Johnny halftime performance. He can take the second half off, Herbie, and get ready for the Crimson Tide
Showdown.
Yeah, the boys from Game Day will be down there. Penalty flag and false start.
False start. Offense. Number 67. 5-yard penalty.
That one's
Second
going
down.
to generate so much hype. I might be heading down there tonight after the game.
Yeah. Kyle, watch Kyle Kalis.
What?
He hasn't moved yet, has he?
I think the center
I don't
might
know.
have.
Yeah,
I think
center
the
might have.
moved.
67 didn't move.
I think Jack Miller may have maybe flinched a little bit.
It's all those Kalis, man. Are you sure?
And
Are you
remember
sure about that now?
Kalis, a freshman at right guard. Jack Miller is a sophomore right in the middle. And on the left is Glasgow. So you have 3 new starters in the interior going up against Lewis Nix.
Indisputable that Kalis was innocent. He was bouncing. Incomplete. Jeremy Jackson, our center. Longtime coach here, makes it incomplete. And there is the offensive line. And that's the starts, including tonight.
Yeah, and we know about the 2 tackles, especially Taylor Lewan, one of the best, if not the best left tackle in the game. But in the interior, when you're going up against Notre Dame, and I don't care who it is, you always need to be able to account for the big fella in the middle because they play with 3 down linemen. And you want to be able to get up to the linebackers. And the only way you can do that is if you can manage the nose guard a little bit to be able to get to the linebackers.
3rd down and 13. Must be careful here. Steps up from the pressure, fires incomplete, and that was terrific coverage downfield. That was Russell. He was all over the intended receiver.
Nice job by Gardner moving around the pocket, buying himself some time. But Russell last year was potentially a concern or a liability because of his youth. Not his ability, but his youth and inexperience. Now he comes back a year later with a whole year under his belt. And Bob Diaco and Brian Kelly, I think, have a lot more confidence in both he and Bennett Jackson out at corner. They're willing to take a few more chances in man coverage.
So Wiles into punt now, and Jones is back deep for the Irish. Low snap, picks it up. Jones going to return it. Lane in the middle. Takes it into Wolverine territory to the 46-yard line. What a reminder to get your NFL Sunday started at ESPN. 10 a.m. Eastern, Sunday NFL Countdown. Chris Berman of the gang will bring you the latest news and updates from around the league to get you ready for the day's games. And at 11 a.m. on ESPN2, catch fantasy football now to get your team ready. That is tomorrow morning. So how many of you drafted that tight end from Denver the other night? Did anybody take him on the fantasy team?
I didn't have him.
He looked like a horse.
No.
Whoa, me.
What Peyton end up with 7?
7 touchdowns for Peyton, and I think a couple of them to that big fellow who used to be a basketball player. 1st down and 10 now. The middle, and Amir Carlisle, Santa Clara, California. Of course, transferred from USC. He actually played for the Trojans.
I think he, George Atkinson's there. You have Amir Carlisle, Cam McDaniel, even the freshman Greg Bryant. There's something about when 3 gets his hands on the ball, there's a flash and a quickness that I think is important to be in there with Tommy Rees.
Last play of the opening quarter. 2nd down and 4. And they got a C.J. Procise gets in there, so they send a brand new receiver out on us, and he picks up the 1st down as we come down. Now remember, the clock stops briefly after the first. So the most important moment for me in the 1st quarter was somebody running down and calling timeout. What happened next? That's it.
Touchdown. Let me call the play.
The man in charge.
Call the play.
Into the 1st quarter here in Ann Arbor. And we're back after these messages. The aerial coverage provided by Goodyear. Everything Goodyear has learned making tires that go the distance inspires what they roll into yours. Goodyear, more driven. We start the 2nd quarter with Notre Dame threatening. They're at the Wolverine 25-yard line with a 1st and 10. Wolverines leading by a field goal. Reese incomplete. He had Atkins Atkinson was wide open, slipping out of the backfield.
Second time we've seen a ball go right through the hands of George Atkinson. You know, when you play in this offense, and as I said, the direction that Brian Kelly and Chuck Martin are going without Everett Golson is they need others to be able to make plays, especially out of the backfield. You've got to be able to catch the football out of the backfield and pick up 4, 5, 6 yards. And now you're in 2nd and 4 as opposed to now 2nd and 10.
Koyak is the H-back, sets up on the right wing. Atkinson trying to swing outside, and nothing doing.
Michigan overloaded the line of scrimmage right before the ball was snapped. You saw Brennan Byer, 97, come in there and get into a battle with the big tight end, Ben Koyak, and actually ended up setting the edge and winning that battle and forcing the ball back to the inside. So good defense there by Michigan.
Heitzman making the stop. 3rd down and 12. In trouble. Under pressure. Throwing it away.
If he would have seen Amir Carlisle early, Brent, he had a shot because the Michigan linebackers were getting so deep in coverage. Look from your left to your right. It's right there. If he puts it into his hands, he's got a chance to split those linebackers and pick up the 1st down. He had his eyes downfield looking into coverage. Missed an open Amir Carlisle.
Going for the tie. 44-yard attempt. A tight football game, deadlocked at 10. The college football bus is with us, and a reminder that Tailgate Week, fired up by Kingsford Charcoal, is coming October 5th. The Big House, under the lights too. Notre Dame and Michigan slugging it out with 14:05 left in the 2nd quarter. Norfleet back deep.
You get a sandwich today from Zingerman's?
You always got to get a sandwich.
They're good.
Coming out to 25. All right, Herbie. Here's your Aflac trivia question. It's that time.
Aflac.
Name the 4 quarterbacks from Notre Dame and Michigan to start a Super Bowl game. There are 4. Okay.
3 just jump out at you. Am I allowed to say it? You want me to say them out loud right now? Like a couple of them, I got. Sure. Theismann, Brady, Montana.
And you got the 3.
Now I got to dig in. Now I got to dig.
Toussaint comes in as the running back. Play action from Gardner, has plenty of time. And Gallen reaches and grabs for a 1st down, out of bounds at the 40-yard line. Wood getting him out of bounds.
Notre Dame's determined to stop Michigan from running the football in early downs. So what does Michigan do? Great call by Al Borges. 1st and 10, play action. There's Nix closing in again on Devin Gardner. They do just enough here to be able to hold him up, give him the time. There's a great matchup. Taylor Lewan against Stephon Tuitt. Gave him enough time, but it was the call by Al Borges. Notre Dame's loaded up to stop the run, play action, and go to your favorite receiver, Gallen.
Toss play. Toussaint could not get the edge that time and was ridden out after about a 3-yard gain. Coaches are very high on his rehab. and the way he came back, Herbie. They praise him. When you go talk to the Michigan assistant coaches, they say how hard this young man worked to rehab that knee and come back.
To think that he had the injury where he broke the tibia, he fractured his fibula, and still worked so hard. And I think that determination, now you start to see a hungry back in there wanting to run the football.
Now here comes the freshman, Derek Green. Play action. Gardner gets away from the defensive player. Now he's in trouble, and he'll throw it away and out of bounds. Live to fight another day. Bennett Jackson was all over him. Let's check in with Heather.
Guys, you were talking about Fitz's broken leg. Well, last week before the game, he said he walked right to the spot on the field where his career could have ended, where he had that nasty break, and he said, I was emotional. It had been a long journey. He said, physically, I felt great, but now it's not about the physical part of the game. It's mentally tough. I've got to get through it. I've got to start building confidence and getting to the point where I'm not thinking about my leg while I'm playing. We'll see if he gets there soon, guys.
Indeed, 3rd down and 7. Stays into pass protect, does a great job. Gallen comes back on Jackson, and he's got it and out of bounds for a 1st down.
This is, again, the relationship between the quarterback and the receiver. 3rd down. He knows he's got man-to-man coverage on the outside. Puts the ball on the back shoulder and lets Gallen adjust to the football. Ball's in the air now. Gallen comes back to the football and makes the play. Gallen, I personally believe, pound for pound, one of the most talented wide receivers in the country when it comes to his hands and his ability to run routes.
Derek Green checks back in, and he is thrown for a loss. Carlo Calabrese in to hit him. That was a 22-yard gain that brought the ball to the 34-yard line.
Look at these linebackers flowing. Watch how they like to be able to try to flash and get through as quickly as they can. They've emphasized finishing blocks because of the way Notre Dame's linebackers can run through. Manti Te'o did that last year a lot.
We have an injured Wolverine player down near the 30-yard line. Looking at the numbers right now, Herbie, Jeremy Gallen has caught 3 balls. He's almost got 100 yards on the night here after that 22-yard gain. And is that A.J. Williams who's down, Herbie? Is that the young man from Cincinnati?
Yep.
One of the tight ends. So let us take a break here with 12-12 remaining in the 2nd quarter. Notre Dame and Michigan are tied.
ESPN College Football Primetime, brought to you by Chevrolet. Find new roads. And Geico. 15 minutes could save you 15% or more on car insurance.
Well, that's the law library here at the University of Michigan. Nearly 1 million volumes are stored there. Of course, that's a big center for legal research here in the Midwest. Scholars come around the world to study, and Williams over there on the sideline being tended to. Someone, Herbie said, rolled up on his leg when he took a look at that replay. So it's 2nd down and 11. Gardner going to toss it down to the screen to the tight end, and they get to within 1 yard. Devin Funches, wearing Ron Kramer's famous 87, almost got the 1st down.
Watch his big left paw go up there and just palm that football. They are excited about this young sophomore and what he can do. Little touch pass. Again, that tight spiral allows receivers to be able to make plays like this, and now gives them a chance here to execute on 3rd and short. He's almost really a receiver playing tight end at 235 pounds.
Here's the Bo Schembechler look. The fullback in front of the tailback. 3rd down and 1. Here it comes. 1st down and more. The ISO that fullback, and Fitz Toussaint comes right through that hole. We've seen this play for years, Herbie.
And wanted to see how Glasgow and Miller and Kalis would do in the interior. It's a pretty good job, and a good job, as you said, by the fullback leading the way. But so far through the 1st half, holding their own, considering they're all 3 really making their first true start. Last week, Central Michigan. Tonight's really their first test.
That fullback was Joe Carriage, by the way.
Yeah.
Who that good block. Now 1st down and 10. Ball at the 21. Here's Toussaint again, picking his way to the left side. You know, every time we talk about the fullback at Michigan, Jim Harbaugh telling us that Bo Schembechler called him to congratulate him when he got the job at Stanford before going to 49. Jimmy, have you got a fullback? Yeah, coach, I got a fullback. Jimmy, have you got a tight end? Yeah, coach, I got a tight end.
I love that. I love it. And they still do.
They still do. Whoever's going to take on the 49ers, they're going to be playing some of those tight ends. I'm telling you, David's a good one downfield, especially. Second down and 7 in a foot race. Now Gardner can move. Now he's got throw back into the middle, and it's complete for a first down. How about him hitting Bud, another tight end? But how about Gardner on the move?
And his ability to get away from Stephon Tuitt. Tuitt's 322 pounds. He knows what's coming. He's there. He just underestimates the speed, and he just could not stay with Devin Gardner. I love how Devin Gardner, he knows what he has to do right there to get outside to break contain. But once he does, he makes the little point to Bud and says, hey, find that opening in that zone, throw it, pick up the first down.
So here's your 1st and goal. Toussaint is hit in that backfield, and Danny Fox comes across. Dan Fox comes across, number 48, that makes a fine play.
Again, this is Bob Diaco. This is his defense. You're going to move the ball. You're going to get in the red zone. It's going to be a different game. We're going to get more aggressive. Linebackers are flowing downhill. There's nothing the offensive line can do. He's chasing that play from behind. He's almost in a sprint by the time the ball is snapped. Great job there by Dan Fox coming in and making that play and just kind of feeling it and sensing when to come free.
Yeah, the fullback sort of ran through that and was picking up somebody else downfield. Now Gardner is back, throwing end zone, jump ball incomplete. Farley was there defensively, doing a fine job for the Irish in the end zone, and it'll be 3rd down and goal.
Because of the way Notre Dame sells out against the run, they go play action, and they've got a matchup, but the ball hung up just long enough for Matthias Farley to come over and get a hand on it. Great coverage, and a good job of being back where he needed to be to take away the 6'6" freshman from having a chance to catch it.
Play action, Gardner stands tall, fires incomplete, and penalty flag is thrown. Gallen the target. And the flag is thrown, and it's going to be a pushing call against the Irish.
I think
Pass interference. Defense. Number 6. Ball will be placed at spot of the foul. Automatic first down.
Russell against Jeremy Gallen. Tight coverage. And it's just towards the end of this. Really, there's a great route. Ball is thrown. He's holding him, number 1. And then the contact. There's 2 things, and the official's right on top of it. He actually, when he made the cut to the inside, he tried to get away with a little tug of the jersey, but right in front of the official, and they make the right call.
The 10-yard line becomes a spot foul. So the ball is going to be placed on the 2-yard line for Brady Hoke's Wolverines. 1st down and 10. Toussaint's the running back. Now Gardner will take it on back to the pistol formation. Got to hurry. Just did get it off. Shows option. Cut back. Touchdown Gardner and the Wolverines.
Let's give Devin Gardner, wearing 98, all the credit there. That's what his head coach is telling him. Great job of recognizing the look that we looked at all week. He made the check at the line of scrimmage, got back in the shotgun. Notre Dame was confused based on that look. Got him out of position, and we know what he can do running the football.
Absolutely. And Gibbons tacks on the extra point. Wolverines go back up by 7. Welcome back to ESPN College Football Primetime, presented by Hampton Hotels. So Devin Gardner, who has thrown for touchdowns here tonight, he's also now run for one. Now let's see if Atkinson gets a chance returning it this way. mobile with the big leg, and if Michigan needed a long field goal at the end of the game, a 50-yarder or so, this young man would be the kicker and not Gibbons. And you can see why. Coming out to 25. A look at the touchdown.
Yeah, let's go back. He sees his formation strength is to the left, and that's what he recognizes. So he wants to be able to run the option to the right. What I like is once he moves the tight end over, look at Notre Dame. They're confused. So it's really an easy play. It's a look that they focused on all week, and he's able to take it into the end
And look
zone.
what's happening, though. Timeout. He's confused, too. What's my question? Oh, now watch this.
I had it all the way. He's like, what are you going to do?
Oh, you got to love Brady.
But that plays an illustration of as much as Al Borges is taking this to a pro-style attack with Devin Gardner, they still have the ability to run the football with the quarterback.
Cam McDaniel is in the running back. The Irish continue that search, and Reese burns a timeout here. Kelly is not happy. He is all over the center, Nick Martin. Oh, yeah.
Glad that's not me.
When the man's upset, you know it. The Michigan band, but coming up at halftime, you won't want to miss a sneak peek of Eminem's new music video called Berserk. Marshall Mathers is going to join Herbie and me in the booth live. World premiere sample of this music video for your enjoyment. Atkinson, the running back, complete over the middle now, and they get the ball back in Tavares Daniels' hands.
Great job of hitting that crease again, right between the corner and the safety. You got to throw it. You got to, again, throw it with a lot of velocity right behind the linebacker, and you throw it between Taylor, the corner, and if the ball hangs up, the safety's going to come over and take the receiver out of the play. That is a great throw there by Tommy Rees.
Who's thrown for 95 yards tonight. Now has Cam McDaniel behind him. Gardner's thrown for 143. There's McDaniel behind the left side, and we check in. Herbie, we're going to take a look at this young man, Cam McDaniel. Check in with him.
Yeah, we will check in with him. He's out of Texas. When you watch him run, it makes sense. He runs like he's from Texas as far as his toughness. He'll bounce off of defensive linemen and linebackers. George Atkinson has the speed. Amir Carlisle is explosive. But when Cam McDaniel comes in, he brings a certain toughness to the table.
We'll go empty. With 5 men out. Complete, snatched out of the air by Jones, who goes down. T.J. Jones.
Well, these guys are in sync. This is zone coverage that they're seeing on this drive. Off to the left there. Jones makes a nice cut. Ball's thrown away from Desmond Morgan, the linebacker. But again, notice this football, how quickly it's coming out of Tommy Rees's hands. The importance is right there, 22 Wilson. It's not the linebacker, 48. It's you have to throw it quick to give your receiver a chance to get the ball caught and then protect himself from that safety coming in.
He took a blow.
There it is.
That was a very athletic move. Chris Brown replaces Jones, and Tommy backfiring again, and this one is snatched by Atkinson. This time he hangs on after letting a couple of passes get away from him. Not this time, and this is a big moment for the Irish on that sideline. It's that right arm being tended to for T.J. Jones, and he says, I'm fine.
No, he's not coming out of this game. If he can play, this is his year. He's paid his dues. What a great catch that time. And again, Tommy Rees, 4 plays, 64 yards in about a minute and a half. Notre Dame down before this half, and they're moving the ball right down the field.
And Atkinson motions out of the backfield. Rees fires, incomplete. Was Atkinson ready for that? There was strange body language when he got up.
Well, this is a tough ask for a great receiver. He was moving underneath. And I think Tommy Rees read zone, meaning you need to just settle. Find a spot and settle. And Atkinson, I think, read man, and he started to bring the route underneath. So a little miscommunication. But again, let's give George Atkinson a little bit of a break. He's dropped a few. That one was just a miscommunication between he and the quarterback.
You may be giving him a break, but his position coach is not. Second down and 10. Rees stands tall, fires incomplete. And down again is Jones.
And it's definitely something to keep an eye on. Their most talented wide receiver clearly affected by that hit that he took from Jared Wilson a few plays back, and then he lands right on top of it. Desmond Morgan comes right down on top of it.
So back to the sideline. Chris Brown, 6.5 left in a half. In pain with that shoulder. Amir Carlisle is the running back along the side. Going to drop it off to the running back. Could not get the corner. He is brought down on a very nice tackle by Countess.
Great play by Blake Countess. Tight zone coverage from Greg Madison. His characteristic typically is a lot of pressure. This time they just tighten up the zone, and Countess, the corner, sitting right there. And despite the quickness from Carlisle, is able to keep him from getting to the outside and picking up that first down.
So Kyle Brenza will trot onto the field on this 4th and 6. This will be a 24-yard field goal attempt from the right half. Curls it in. Trailing by 4. 17-13 Wolverines. Cue the Aflac duck, please. Time's up, Herbie.
You're feeling good about this because
4 quarterbacks from Notre Dame and Michigan to start a Super Bowl game. You've got 3 of them.
Yeah.
The 4th one went to Notre Dame. That's your hint. Started one Super Bowl. That's another hint. Tom Brady, who you had 5 times. Joe Montana 4 times. Joe Theismann twice. Darryl LaMonica. You're a football historian, young man.
What year did he play?
The year you were born.
You're right. Super Bowl II?
There we are.
I get a pass for that.
You'll be on me all week about
Exactly.
that. You'll be calling me from College Station. What's game day going there right after this game? You said Norfleet. 35-36, the dangerous one. Well, week 1 of the new NFL season wraps up Monday night with a doubleheader on ESPN. First now, 6:55 Eastern, Eagles will take on the Washington Redskins. Take the over. Then at 10:15, the Texans take on the San Diego Chargers. Take the Texans. Coverage begins with Monday Night Countdown at 5 p.m. Monday Night Football. This week on ESPN, also live on Watch ESPN. Did you hear anything on that promo? Was that another voice?
I think I did hear something.
I wonder who that was.
I'm taking notes.
Okay, here's Tucson now.
I'll hold you accountable. If it doesn't work out.
Gardner kept it. Got around the corner.
We've seen this last drive. Again, Al Borges, kind of a little bit of a cat and mouse game with him calling the plays for Michigan, and Bob Diaco on the other side, the defensive coordinator. Bob Diaco has come into this game, and I think he's saying, we got to stop Devin Gardner from running and Fitzgerald Toussaint, Derek Green from running, and let's try to get Devin Gardner into some obvious passing situations and make him beat us throwing the ball. And I think they've adjusted very well by getting Gardner out on the edge and getting the quick play action pass to try to take advantage of one-on-one matchups outside.
2nd and 4, Gardner again. They're not accounting for the quarterback, and he has speed. Out of bounds at the 20-yard line. That was a great read by him, Herbie.
He sure did a great job here. Al Borges is saying, all right, they're going to play this kind of defense. We're going to go back to the old style offense that we ran with Denard Robinson. This guy can run that offense too. And you wonder how much Notre Dame prepped for this, because all we heard about is Devin Gardner, pro-style attack. And as I said, the adjustment from Al Borges has been more quarterback run and more play action off of the same look.
So Al, with his next play call, approaching the red zone here with 4.5 minutes to go. 1st and 10. Toussaint this time, trying to bounce it outside. And nothing doing. Taken down by Farley. Coming up, stay tuned for the Buick halftime report. Scores and highlights from around college football. We see that there's a penalty flag. That run by Gardner, Herbie, was for 35 yards. He's passed for 143, and he's run for 44 yards. Passed for a touchdown.
Number 39.
Pretty good
10-yard
start.
penalty from previous spot. First down.
And that's the fullback. Homa.
We've not, early in the year, we've not seen very many penalties. I mean, we've got one penalty on Notre Dame, one penalty on Michigan. Pretty clean game considering this is week 2. But the timing of that penalty could be critical, because now Michigan is pushed way back on this 1st and 20.
Gardner with the read option, keeping it again. Well, the Notre Dame defense going to have to adjust on the read option. There's another penalty flag out.
Another late flag.
And it's thrown way back on the Michigan side back there by the 30. The line judge.
It's like another hold. Back to back.
Self-inflicted damage here on the part of the Wolverines.
On the offense, number 60. 10-yard penalty from the spot of the foul. First down.
That's the first-year center, Jack Miller. Every year that Brady has been here, the 3 years, he's had a new center. Jack Miller trying to do it.
Jack Miller has his hands full tonight. This time he's working against Sheldon Day. I'm still trying to find out where he held him. I mean, unless he have a better look at it than we did there. It didn't look like much of a hold there unless they called out the wrong guy.
So they're now backed up to the Notre Dame 40-yard line. To get a first down, they've got to get all the way to the 11. And it's still, remember, it's still first down. So they drop in underneath to Funchess. And hit by Jackson. They're just trying to get within Gibbons' range if they can. And remember, if it winds up being real long, they'll trot Weil out.
And Gibbons last year, he made a 52-yarder. He's got great leg strength. Now Michigan probably working a little clock along with trying to see if they can execute and get this either in field goal range or score a touchdown. But they're going to work a little clock here too. Keep it away from Tommy Rees.
They got Gallen one-on-one to the left. Play action. Gardner going to throw back middle. Gallen comes back and gets it. And now it is a manageable third down at least. It's back near the 21-yard line.
What a great job of adjusting. Again, he's one of the best at doing this. He understands that his quarterback at times is going to get into trouble. And when he does, his eyes are downfield. And a lot of times he's looking at Delio and Jeremy Gallen. Notre Dame got penetration. Schwenke gets in there. But Gardner keeps the play alive. The difference from Gardner and Robinson is he keeps the play alive, and he's still a threat to throw the football. Does a good job with his eyes downfield.
Certainly within Gibbons' range now. They'll see what they can do on third down to move the chains. Gardner's going to go back. Toss to the far end zone. Jump ball. Gallen couldn't hang on, and that time Russell gets the better of it.
Russell gambles here and just reads the eyes of Jeremy Gallen, and at the last second, based on the eyes and the hands of Gallen, just puts his hand up in the air and does enough there to keep Gallen away from the football. He was beaten on the play.
Gibbons, let's have to put this back on the 7. Remember, he has kicked 15 straight for a new Michigan record tonight. 38-yarder. Looks true. Good. 16 straight field goals for Brendan Gibbons, the senior who went to Cardinal Newman High School down in the West Palm Beach area. Well, the Coach's Trophy presented by Dr. Pepper will be awarded to the winner of the Vizio BCS National Championship on January 6th in Pasadena. And the Rose Bowl fellas are in town here watching and enjoying this game here tonight. They'll host not just the Rose Bowl, but the National Championship come next January.
Our favorite place.
And let's check in with Reese Davis.
All right, Brent, coming up on the Buick Halftime Report, Georgia bounced back in a big way against South Carolina. We'll show you what the Dogs did right. Now Aaron Murray went off. Miami took advantage of Florida miscues aplenty and had a signature win for Al Golden. And Braxton Miller, the Ohio State quarterback, went down. We'll get you up to date on his status. That's all coming up on the Buick Halftime Report.
Boy, what a big win for Al Golden in Miami.
Absolutely.
Think about everything that they've been through off the field and still hovering over their program. That was a landmark win for his era, knocking off the Gators at home.
Did the Gators turn it over like 5 times in that game? I may be off by one, but it was a
5 turnovers.
Here comes Atkinson now. He does get a return. And he'll go out of bounds close to the 25-yard line. There's a penalty flag as we want to remind you about Sunday Night Baseball rookie sensation. Yasiel Puig and the Dodgers will battle the Cincinnati Reds. Dodgers-Reds tomorrow night at 8 p.m. Eastern. Herbie's all fired up. Reds all fired.
Well, they took 3 out of 4 from the Redbirds. First 2 from the Dodgers.
After the play, personal foul, late hit out of bounds. Number 25, Michigan, 15 yards, first down Notre Dame.
And I believe that was Thomas. Diamante Thomas might have come over there and got this late flag. Let's see. Yes, indeed.
Yeah, I mean,
that's who it is.
Coming in trying to be aggressive, but he just, you're right before the half. You're going to give your opponent 15 yards. Those are mental errors.
Let's check in with Heather.
TJ Jones back on the field after back-to-back plays, injuring his shoulders. He got cleared by head athletic trainer Rob Hunt, then went over to Mike Denbrook and Coach Kelly. Looked at both coaches and said, "I'm good. Put me back in."
Gamer.
So here he is. Well, 1:50 to go. Protection holds, incomplete, and he had the running back Carlisle wide open. So Notre Dame's drive chart, after being stalled 3 and out on the first 2, then they went touchdown, field goal, field goal.
Yeah, they've really settled down and put the ball into the hands of Tommy Rees. And he's been very accurate for the most part tonight. I know he missed on that throw, but pretty good command considering they're facing a tough environment and a tough defense here.
10 of 18 for 139 yards for Rees. Flushed out of the pocket. Forced to run to the left, and it's intercepted. Picked off by Countess. Blake Countess with an alley, cuts back. And Countess with a terrific interception. And that's the one thing that Tommy Rees cannot do as a Notre Dame quarterback.
Well, he had 30 turnovers coming in tonight, and this is his 20th career start. He knows it. He's worked so hard on this. The one area, as you say, is it's not just forcing the ball. It's when he has to move, when he has to create. He still doesn't throw the ball away. He still tries to make something happen. And remember, it was turnovers a couple years ago that really ended up costing Notre Dame a chance at winning that game.
In the 23, Gardner snaps it off to Jeremy Jackson.
It's a big sequence of plays here with under a minute and a half to go for both teams. Michigan scores to go up by 7. And you think Notre Dame's got enough time maybe to at least get into field goal range. Now a big turnover. Get the ball back to Devin Gardner, who's been on fire here these last couple series. See if Notre Dame can at least hold him to a field goal attempt or if it's a touchdown. He's got Gallen alone again up top.
He looked quickly over in that direction, too.
Man coverage.
Stays back to the right, incomplete. And that was Devin Funches, the tight end, who was being covered by Farley, the safety.
Devin Gardner had man-to-man coverage across the board. He went to Funches, his tight end, right here, trying to pick him up, see if he can make a play one-on-one. Matched up against a much smaller safety in Farley. He just missed him.
Now it is 3rd down. Gardner's in trouble. Just takes off, moves toward that 1st down marker, and he's got it.
Great matchup on the left side here. Taylor Lewan, the All-American left tackle, against Prince Shimbo. Prince Shimbo loses that battle. He goes back to the inside, and when he jumped back to the inside, that's when Devin Gardner was able to see some room to wiggle and run to the outside. And you've got to contain Devin Gardner. He's going to make you pay for it.
From the right, caught in the end zone by Gallen for the touchdown. The GG combination is alive in Ann Arbor.
And these guys have worked their tails off for this kind of night, this kind of opportunity. The back shoulder, it's all about timing and feel. Ball's in the air, thrown away from the defender. There's really nothing he could do on a perfectly thrown ball and perfect execution by Gardner and Jeremy Gallen. But Gallen is a good-looking receiver.
So the touchdown comes after the interception. And the Wolverines go out by a pair of scores. Notice how I said G&G, I'm warming up for M&M.
Hey, how about Gallen? 5 receptions on the night, 123 yards, and we're in the first half.
Oh, he has become the go-to guy. You know, that happened, Herbie, during the last 5 games. You remember when Gardner replaced Denard Robinson? Well, Gallen suddenly became the go-to guy. They formed this great combination, and we have seen it here tonight for sure.
Yeah, I mean, I think when you run this kind of offense, it relies on the quarterback and his receivers obviously being in sync, and these guys have been dedicated. I mean, it was one thing to put Devin Gardner in for Denard Robinson last year for the last 5 games, but to have an entire offseason, 8 months to work together, I think you're starting to see the difference between who Devin Gardner was last year and what he can do now. Because you can still run the ball, you can still have some quarterback run, but you can run more of the pro-style offense, and it's dangerous and tough to stop, as Notre Dame's seeing tonight.
Absolutely. You know, you go back to that interception, and that was the toughest throw a quarterback has to make. You know, a right-hander moving hard to his left,
right,
as Reese was. It is such a tough throw.
Yep.
And it sets up a Wolverine touchdown. And this will come out of the 25 now for the final minute here. Well, let's take a look at Expedia finding success tonight.
Jeremy Gallen, 5 catches, but he has been all over the field. This is a tremendous effort and poor tackling by Notre Dame earlier in the game. There's that back shoulder fade, the feel and the rhythm, where he goes up against Bennett Jackson, and here's the last play. Very similar this time to the right, where he gets matched up one-on-one. Here's something for Bob Diaco when he goes in at halftime to try to make adjustments. You got to be able to contain Denard Robinson, or Devin Gardner when he runs like Denard Robinson.
Absolutely.
And the other thing you got to be careful of is the relationship. You got to do something to stop Jeremy Gallen in one-on-one coverage.
Incomplete. You know, Gardner has terrific speed and can burn you if he finds an alley. Doesn't have that quickness that Denard had. And by the way, the Jacksonville Jaguars love Denard Robinson. He's got running back, little option play. You know, he can do a lot of things, and there's the combination tonight.
He's a strider. He covers so much ground. It's so different in the way he does it from Denard.
Second down. This time complete. Jones did not get out of bounds. Taylor somehow got him down, and the official winding the clock. I thought for sure that he bounced him out of bounds.
You can see Tommy Reese, let's go. We need a little bit more urgency here. 1 timeout, and we're down to 40 seconds. I mean, they're wasting time right now if they're trying to think about trying to get a field goal. They're bringing guys on and off the field. Now a little bit of a huddle. They've really taken about 15 to 20 seconds here.
Carlisle burst to the middle, and Thomas Gordon, and he calls a lot of the checks in the secondary, and
fire it, kill the clock. I think we know who's calling the plays right now.
Yeah. Yes,
Hey,
indeed.
Chuck, come on down to the locker room. We'll see it
You can
halftime.
start. You get that elevator,
Yeah.
Chuck.
I got her from here.
I
though.
got this.
Well, now I'm sure they wish they had those 15 seconds back, because now it's down to only 16. Michigan gets the ball in the second half.
Reese firing in complete. Countess was all over Jones that time, and 10 seconds remaining. Trying to get just at least in Brenda's range.
What he wanted to do, Brent, was drop and then roll to his left. But that time he just couldn't get to the outside because of the job that Frank Clark did against Zach Martin, forcing him to sit in the pocket. Once he couldn't get to the outside, he just basically just threw the football away.
Incomplete, and Atkinson again.
It's the fourth time the ball's gone off his hands. Then you start to wonder how much it becomes mental.
Exactly.
He knows he can make that play.
So they'll punt. Don't want to be stopped and have the Wolverines attempt a long field goal. So
Brady Hoke's calling. What a turn of events here at the end of this first half. Michigan's up 20-13, and you're thinking, if you're Notre Dame, worst case, you're down 7. And then that interception just opened the door for Michigan to capitalize, and they sure did. Jumped up to a 14-point lead.
Well, it's time for our Discover Card Game Changer, brought to you by Discover Card.
And this is the sequence of plays here late in this first half. The interception by Countess, where Tommy Reese just forced the ball, trying to make something happen. Michigan moves right into position to have a chance. Remember, they converted, got down there, and they were backing up with some penalties. Made a few plays, and then a nice throw there by Gardner to Jeremy Gallen for that touchdown.
So Hendricks is going to take the snap if they snap it.
Well, he wants to see the play. He sees that they're going to try a Hail Mary, and then he called for his tight end, Funchess, Devin Funchess. At 6'4", must have great leaping ability to come in. So you see 87 now back there at about the 10-yard line. A tight end back in coverage. So kind of like what you guys see with you and Coach Knight during basketball. You get them lined up, then call the timeout, and then call your defense.
On the inbounds play,
Yeah,
exactly.
yeah.
So Michigan sends 3 fellas back by the end zone, and now Thomas Gordon's back there, and so is Wilson. And then, of course, Herbie told you that Funchess, the big tight end. So all 3 of those fellas are either in the end zone. They're going to start in the end zone. So Hendricks going to crank it up. Throw as far as he can. And it is incomplete. And was that big Funchess just coming up on that play? Ron Kramer would have been proud of that young man wearing 87 here tonight on that play.
Tight end, of course, he's thinking, I want to put an interception in the stat book.
Let's go down to Heather Cox.
Coach, considering the interception, what is your message to your quarterback and your offense in the locker room at halftime?
Well, I mean, they put up 27 points. We've got to play better defensively. They put up 27 points. We made a huge turnover at the end, and you know, we can't make that play at the end of the half, obviously, and Tommy knows better. We got to come back now. We're down 2 scores.
Coach, what do you see as your biggest challenge in the second half?
We got to score more points. We're down 2 scores. We got to put more points on the board.
Thanks, Coach.
All right, Heather. Into the first half here in Ann Arbor. Now, let's send you to Reese in the studio with the Buick halftime report. Take it away, Reese.
All right, Brent. Andrew Hendricks trying to channel his inner Cordell Stewart there at the end of the half. He didn't quite have enough on it. 27-13. Lou Holtz, Mark May alongside. One thing that Michigan certainly will not do is they don't need a relief pitcher at quarterback for any play. Devin Gardner, old number 98, has been spectacular and very calm. He's been a very steady presence for the Wolverines.
He definitely has. He's done a terrific job throwing the football. But I talked about his athleticism before the game, making plays with his legs. And this Al Borges offense, this is the other dimension that they have that Notre Dame doesn't. He can pull it down right here and run for the touchdown. I liked his patience on this play. He got the offense set up the way he wanted to. Right here, he pulls it down, takes it out. Looks like last year when Denard Robinson, you run this offense, this is exactly what he gives you offensively. He gives you that dual threat of throwing the football and running the football, and I thought that was key for this Michigan offense. Move the chains, get first downs, and score touchdowns. 5 rushes, 50 yards.
You may have a tough time getting that 98 off of him the next game. I mean, he has been magical. But I tell you the things that impressed me. It's been a very well-played game with the one exception of the interception. But I've really been impressed with the protection of both teams. I think Notre Dame's protection for the passer has been a lot better than Michigan. But the fact that Devin Gardner has elusiveness helps.
Jeremy Gallen, too, has been spectacular. Still a half to go, but Gallen certainly in the running for a helmet sticker after his first half performance. He got
Devin Gardner's not, huh?
I didn't say he wasn't. He most certainly is. I'm just trying to spread the love past the quarterback every now. I try to look a little deeper into the game every now and then, Coach, instead of just the things right on the surface. Owaga had himself a good day. South Carolina did not. We'll show you how Aaron Murray bounced back.
Welcome back to ESPN College Football Primetime, presented by Hampton Hotels. Well, starting next week, as you see Devin Gardner getting ready for the second half for the Wolverines, but starting next week at 8 Eastern on ABC, Marshall Mathers will open Saturday Night Football. Mathers, it's a pleasure to have you open the show for us.
It's a pleasure to be here, and it's an honor to be able to do that.
So you have the single albums coming out in November. What are you most excited about with this new album?
Nothing.
Nothing?
No. Well, it'll be out November 5th. I'll probably be most excited to just be done with it.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean it's called the Marshall Mathers LP2, and it's kind of a revisit to the first Marshall Mathers LP, and that's pretty much all I could probably say about it. But
one final question before you leave. Some of my friends in Montana wanted me to ask you, will the Lions cover 4.5 tomorrow against Minnesota?
Will the Lions cover 4.5?
Yeah.
I'm not sure, man. I don't ever make a prediction on the Lions because I don't ever want to jinx it. But I'm such a diehard Lions fan, like to the core. So yes, they'll win.
That's all you'll say. Leave it at that.
Yeah. I'm hoping I didn't just jinx it. But
here's the kickoff. Marshall, stick right here with us now. It's going to be the Wolverines' ball. They've got the lead out to the 25-yard line. So, Marshall, again, it was a pleasure having you with us here.
Absolutely, and Brett, just like you know, they have fantasy football or whatever. I got you on my fantasy announcer team. It would be you, and then, of course, the late great Pat Summerall, and John Madden and Al Michaels. If you guys would get together and just call the game, Kirk, you're great too. Much respect, but
not quite to that status yet. I get it.
Right. But you being a legend, and you know, if you got with Al Michaels, man, and John Madden and just called one Lions game, the Super Bowl probably would be great.
We'd all
this year.
Appreciate that, wouldn't we?
But man, that would be like a dream come true for me, man.
That's great, man.
You are a legend, my friend. Thank you.
You're the legend, my friend. 13 Grammys, first rap song to win an Academy Award and original score. You've sold 100 million records worldwide. You, my friend, are the legend.
No doubt about that.
I'm really uncomfortable right now.
Okay. Marshall, take care, my friend. We
Absolutely.
look forward to
Thank
seeing
you.
that
Thank
video
you.
next week.
Honor,
Okay.
thank you.
All right.
Thank you, Kurt. Thank you.
So it is 2nd down and 3 for the Wolverines. They lead it 27-13. And breaking out is Toussaint again. And so, Irby, it looks like this Wolverine offense is just going to pick up where they left off.
Well, and again, that was a lot of fun having a chance to do that.
It was something.
Yeah, that was cool.
Did you ever think when we started the season that Eminem would be dropping by?
No,
Huh?
no. How cool is it he's going to do the Open every single week for Saturday Night Football? Can't beat that. It's a bit, again, let's get back to Notre Dame and their defense and what they've got to do here, because I keep saying that, but this is another big series here with the way Devin Gardner's been playing the last few times he's had the football.
Gardner, pump fake taken off now. Got another first down. Comes across midfield. Smith, Jalen Smith, number 9. Notre Dame fans are going to hear a lot about him in the years ahead. There is a young man with a tremendous upside.
Well, unfortunately, that time Smith had to make a tackle downfield because Devin Gardner, the combination of the pro-style offense, running the football to the outside, his quickness in running, and the play-action pass, if he doesn't make an accurate throw to Jeremy Gallon or one of his receivers, he's scrambling and making plays with his feet.
Toussaint to the 45-yard line. Picked up a couple of yards on that.
Both these teams, for the most part, outside of the Tommy Rees interception late in the first half, did a pretty good job of protecting the football. Michigan, up to this point, has not come close to turning the ball over. Devin Gardner, remember last year when Michigan played Notre Dame, they had 6 turnovers in South Bend.
2nd down and 8.
He's got man-to-man coverage. He's been making checks when he's seen that. This time he's going to run it. No, play action.
That was a good ball fake, though. It did look like he handed it off, and then he hit Drew Dillio. And he's a senior from Greenwell Springs, Louisiana.
They go downfield for the big plays to Gallon, and then just enough to get Dillio an option route, that time matched up against Austin Collinsworth in the slot.
After the play, there are 2 fouls. Unsportsmanlike conduct on the offense, number 67. Unsportsmanlike conduct on the defense, number 1. Penalties all set. They're down.
That is Kalis versus Nix, the big nose man.
These two boys have been doing battle in the interior along with Glasgow, Miller, and you saw Kalis there locked up with Lewis Nix. But they've held their own. That trio's held their own.
Remember now, Kalis was a 5-star who committed to Ohio State and then decommitted when Jim Tressel left. So here is number 67 starting at right guard now for the Wolverines, and he's played every snap tonight. Toussaint bounces. Nix couldn't bring him down, but he slowed him up enough, and that allowed Grace to finish it up.
Well, that time you see Lewis Nix against Graham Glasgow, the left guard. Does a good job here getting penetration. He had Kalis on the last play, and this time he's able to slip off of Glasgow and actually disrupted the right tackle, Michael Schofield, coming around to pull.
Second down and 13. Gardner complete to Jeremy Jackson. That's the son of Fred Jackson, a running back coach here with the Wolverines, and he's been active for them tonight.
Locked in, I think, that time to Jeremy Jackson, the senior, because the true freshman tight end, Jake Butt, slipped out into the flat, and the linebacker who was staying with him kind of got caught up in traffic, and Butt cleared out. There's nobody out there. And again, I think he locked in that time to 17 Jackson.
On third down, Devin Gardner is taken down for a sack, and that was Williams who rolled in, the junior from Brooklyn.
A little bit of a move, a little stunt on the inside this time. Ishaq Williams comes from the outside into the inside, and caused a little confusion on the right side of the Michigan offensive line. See him at the bottom there? By coming around the right tackle, played a little bit of a combination there with Stephon Tuitt, and Kalis and Schofield just miscommunication, and Tuitt came free.
Forces the Wolverines to punt, so Weil is in, and T.J. Jones is back. For the Irish, he'll signal fair catch on this. Sure-handed, just inside the 10-yard line. Notre Dame down a couple of scores. We'll have the ball for the first time in the second half when you come back to the Big House in Ann Arbor. Welcome back to ESPN College Football Prime Time, presented by Hampton Hotels. The Irish down a couple of scores, backed up in the shadow of their own end zone, will come out from the 10-yard line here. Amir Carlisle in as the running back behind Reese. He gets the first call, pounding the middle, and good 7-yard run, Herbie.
I think you're going to see Chuck Martin, the offensive coordinator, and Brian Kelly. You got to stick to your game plan. I know they're down by a couple scores, but we're just starting this second half, and who knows? We'll see what happens on this drive. But if they're able to move the length to the field here, they're able to put up a touchdown. All of a sudden, it's a one-possession game. So they're going to kind of stick to their guns, go with the game plan, and part of that is running the football.
First down, and Carlisle running right straight up the middle. Gordon forced to make the stop. Lombard, Martin, and Watt open the hole.
Watch Stanley as well, the right tackle. Nice combination here. Double team. They just open that hole up and get up to the linebacker, Desmond Morgan. He gets an arm on Carlisle, but Carlisle will surprise you with some power and run through those arm tackles. Back-to-back nice running plays here for the Irish.
The transfer from USC splits out, empty, incomplete, intended for Jones.
Not like T.J. Jones to drop a ball like that. And I still have to go back to the first half when he had an injury. And we don't know if it was his shoulder for sure, but it looked like it was something on his side, and he kind of just short arms that right arm going up to make the catch. That's something that typically Tommy Rees knows he can put the ball there, and Jones will go up and make that play. I don't know if he's fully recovered from whatever he had to deal with in the first half.
Second down and 10. I believe I saw a penalty flag, yes, thrown at the line of scrimmage. Ross making the snap.
Jabril Black, the interior defensive lineman from Michigan, getting a little bit of a head start. That'll be 5 yards for Notre Dame.
Offside on the defense. Number 88, 5-yard penalty, second down.
You know, it seems pretty obvious, Herbie, that Coach Kelly has said saddle up, offensive line, go to work. Let's get the running game going here, and let's see what we can do with Carlisle and the guys.
Oh, absolutely. They're going to stick to their guns. By the way, 88 is a tight end named Jake Butt. He plays on offense. That was 55 Black that jumped there for Michigan.
Four-man rush holds. Jones hangs on this time for the first down.
Yeah, and I think Michigan, they've done a really good job with Greg Madison of mixing up their looks. Right now, it's almost like a prevent defense. They're just sitting back, keeping everything in front of them, and then gang tackling. The only problem with that is it's still early in this game, and Notre Dame is moving the football now. They were pinned back deep in their own territory, and they put together a few first downs now, almost close to midfield.
Carlisle stays in the backfield. Motions out. And catches the ball. Under heavy pressure that time from Taylor.
And I think you also saw, Byer got in there, but Reese held on to the football to the very last possible second until he got it out there. There's Byer closing in on him. And I think we're starting to see, to me, as we watch Notre Dame grow, I think one of the guys they miss is not just Tyler Eifert, but Theo Riddick. I thought he was a great fit for what they like to do. And I think Amir Carlisle's skill set is like Riddick. I think he's going to grow into that role where he can be in the backfield and also line up in the slot and catch.
Second and 5. Cut back by Carlisle. That was beautiful vision by Amir, who picked up that hole and a first down as we check in with Reese.
Brent, Texas and BYU are on ESPN2. It's part of our Dr. Pepper 10 conference update. And the Mountain West is laying the wood to the Big 12 right now. That's Paul Asike going in. Listen to these rushing numbers. BYU has outrushed Texas 324 to 54 in the first half.
Wow.
Did I hear Reese right? First down and 10. Complete. Chris Brown, the sophomore.
We're hanging out up here with Eminem, and Texas is, that defense, we thought they might improve. Mercy.
Mac Brown will be hanging out with Eminem if they don't pick it up a little bit, partner.
Yeah. Ball is thrown to the back shoulder where it needs to be, away from the defender. And again, you look at Chris Brown at 6'1", about 190 pounds. He, along with Daniels at 6'1", 203, gives him two big physical wide receivers. Not just T.J. Jones, the undersized Jones.
Atkinson battles for the first down.
Nice. Good job here keeping his play alive, and we're seeing both Carlisle, now Atkinson. Good job of keeping his play alive and then finding that hole all the way to the outside. You saw his tackle pulling from the right to the left, but the play was, Michigan had it well defended, and Atkinson keeping his leg drive there that time. Nice job to work for that first down.
Remember, the Irish started back on their own 10-yard line. They have driven out of the Wolverines 36. Downfield, got a man open, incomplete. Daniels, he was in a little bubble there if they could have dropped it into him.
Yeah, he was trying to slip down the sidelines. Cover two, meaning the corner stays up tight and rides the receiver a little bit. And then you got a safety coming over. There's a tight little window there. Daniel started to take a little peek because he knew Wilson was closing in on him. Ball was thrown late. Not much of a chance there to put it into that window.
Second and 10. Middle, complete. Battling and not going to get the first down that time. I mean, the entire Wolverine defensive unit swarms all over Troy Nicholas after the catch.
I love Troy Nicholas, 6'5", 270. That's a Notre Dame tight end. Tyler Eifert was a beautiful tight end as almost a receiver. This Troy Nicholas, he's going to leave a few bruises on you if you try to come up and make a play on him. They pick up 9 yards there, so they got a shot here on 3rd and short. That's a horse right there, 6'7", 270.
Caught by Daniels. First down for Notre Dame. On the changeup call by Tommy Reese.
Soft coverage, 3rd down and short. Got to get the ball out in a hurry, back into the boundary. Good job by Reese. He saw the matchup that he wanted, got the ball out quick enough to give Daniels a chance to get that foot down. Remember, Notre Dame, the last time they were here, you and I called the game in the second half. They were down in that game by 17 points in the second half and fought all the way back to, it looked like, had a game-winning score until within the last few seconds, Denard Robinson stole it from him.
Play action. Tommy fires complete. Reaching in for the end zone. Touchdown, Nicholas. There's your tough guy tight end.
There he is. That's a Notre Dame tight end. 6'5", 270. Soft hands by the big fella, too. And Wilson does his best to try to make a play.
That was a great play by Nicholas. I believe he kept his knee up on Wilson's body and then got the hand down and reached in. Terrific move. Must be the shoes.
And a 12-play, 90-yard drive took over 5 minutes. And as I said, if they're able to score on this drive, you make it a one-possession game. And we're still in the 3rd quarter. Notre Dame's right back in this game.
Trailing now by 1 score. An impressive 90-yard drive.
ESPN College Football Primetime. Brought to you by Mercedes-Benz, the best or nothing, and Bank of America.
the Big House on a Saturday night with the lights on. And now they're estimating around 115,000 in here tonight. They may set a record when they make the attendance official. The Irish 90-yard touchdown drive, 12 plays, down by 1 score. Here's Norfleet. Overhead view of number 23 making his way almost out to the 23. 27-20, and we're right back. Aerial coverage provided by Goodyear. Everything Goodyear has learned making tires that go the distance inspires what they roll into yours. Goodyear, more driven. Michigan rolling out all the stops here tonight. Cassie Russell being introduced. Last year's Final Four basketball team received an ovation. But now they're hanging on to a 7-point lead. Toussaint is their running back. And he is rustled down after a yard with Sheldon Day.
Let's go back to the touchdown. Nicholas here. Just going to kind of get back into coverage off this play action look. What I want you to watch is Nicholas just runs himself almost right into coverage. You see the quarterback, Tommy Rees, had to throw it, and it looked like Nicholas had to come back to the ball, and it's because he didn't settle down his route, and it forced him to have to come back and make a great catch. And what an amazing effort running right over top of that safety, Wilson.
Herbie, did Ross misdirect it, perhaps?
Couldn't tell if he got a finger on that or not.
I thought maybe he misdirected that ball a little bit. Anyway, Devin Gardner coming over to the right side now. Firing incomplete, and there is that freshman, Jaylon Smith. Folks, remember that name. There is a penalty flag on the field.
Gardner's had some success throwing back into the teeth of the Notre Dame defense, and you see Delio right there, but boy, you got to be really careful throwing back against the grain of the defense. Smith almost came up with a huge interception for Notre Dame.
This is an ACC crew here, not a Big Ten crew. David Epperly of the ACC is our referee.
On the offense, number 75. Penalty is declined. 3rd down.
But the replay booth is being manned by the Big Ten here in Ann Arbor. Steve Newman is our official upstairs.
Brent, first half, Jeremy Gallon on some 3rd downs got left alone one-on-one against the Notre Dame secondary, and he made them pay for it time and time again. This time he'll be at the bottom of your screen. And let's see if they leave Bennett Jackson isolated with him one-on-one.
Jackson is right there showing man on him right now. But Robinson going to take off and picks up the 1st down on 3rd and 8. Devin Gardner, making like Denard Robinson, picks up the 1st down.
I'm right there with you. I mean, this is the part of this offense that makes you think about Denard Robinson, and he can do this. This is a design run. It's a draw. Receiver Jeremy Gallon's trying to pick up a block downfield. Fitz Toussaint's trying to do it. A great call, gutsy call there on 3rd down. And there's that, as Al Borges calls it, the 3rd play, which is where the quarterback has to use his feet to be able to make a 1st down.
So 70 yards rushing. That's a career high, by the way, for Devin Gardner here tonight. Deep drop. Going to go deep downfield. Go for the home run, and it's grabbed at the 24-yard line. Jeremy Gallon again.
A little bit of play action. Watch 41 Farley sink up in and then finally get back. And when he hustles to get back, he and Austin Collinsworth a little bit out of position, but the ball is just perfectly thrown. Tight coverage, but the defender didn't have a chance to work through the body of Gallon because of the position of the football by Devin Gardner.
Yeah, Russell was the corner right there, Herbie, that you were talking about, all over him. 41-yard gain. Puts the ball at the 25-yard line. The fullback comes in. Toussaint cuts into that hole, and Toussaint reaches for the 1st down, and it's going to be close. We check in with Reese Davis.
All right, Brent, time for Sports Center right now, brought to you by Ally Bank. Miami Beach, Florida today, despite the fact that the Gators dominated in terms of statistics. Florida gave away 5 turnovers. Stephen Morris hit Philip Dorsett for that long touchdown, and 21-16 was the final. Sports Center, by the way, is currently on ESPN News.
All right, Reese, and here the Wolverines leading 27-20 and driving again. They were just shy of the first down. Toussaint picks it up this time. So Michigan with a first down at about the 12-yard line, and now their offensive line. You know, we haven't talked a lot tonight about Taylor Lewan, and the reason why we haven't talked about him is that's because number 77 is so efficient over there at left tackle. And Herbie, I know how much you think about him. And when he decided to come back for his senior year, who did he talk to? Jake Long, former first-round draft choice out of Michigan, and now playing in the National Football League. He told him to stick right here. He would not hurt at all for one more year. Dropping it off. Gallen dives in zone. Got it. My, what a night for 21. Desmond Howard is in attendance, and he's making Desmond proud. 177 yards and 3 touchdowns here tonight.
Great call. Play action. Again, utilizing the speed of Devin Gardner, getting him on the edge with the ability to run or throw, and he finds his man. There's something about the maize and blue 21 that when he goes up against Notre Dame, good things happen. And how about that block right there by Jeremy Jackson?
That was beautiful.
Junior Hemingway a couple years ago. Desmond, of course. Now tonight.
There is Des on the sideline, trying to act impartial as Gibbons tacks on the extra point. He'll be down in College Station for game day next week. Preparation for that Alabama-Texas A&M game. And Herbie, you'll be joining me later. Come on up to West Lafayette. We're going to follow the Irish next week.
Yes, sir.
8 Eastern on ABC.
This offense is really going to be fun to watch this year because this is week 2 with Devin Gardner. You can see the 8 months of preparation that Al Borges and these players have put into this. Jeremy Gallen's a great receiver. And they've got players around Jeremy Gallen. But to me, it's Devin Gardner's ability to understand the system, ability to run and be a true threat with his feet. But now you're seeing the growth of this offense because of his ability to throw the football. He's 17 of 25 tonight for 248 yards, 3 touchdowns, and no interceptions. And you add that with his mobility and creativity, it's just a dangerous combination.
Atkinson is going to bring this one out. He's got the speed. 45 out near midfield with a terrific return for the Irish, and we check in with Heather.
Guys, after that last Notre Dame touchdown, head athletic trainer Rob Hunt spent a lot of time working on quarterback Tommy Rees on that left knee. He put a donut-style pad for protection, then taped up that knee, but Tommy Rees is definitely visibly limping. Then he went up to his O-line, gave him all 5, said keep on working, kept his shoulder warm, kept moving around. It looks like he wants to stay limber, but be sure to keep an eye on that left knee, guys.
There it is, that wrap, Herbie, that Heather reported on that left knee.
Great field position here for Notre Dame.
After the 50-yard kickoff return. Empty backfield for Rees. Incomplete, wanted Nicholas. You know, you go back to Brady Hoke on that Michigan sideline, and you have to remember one thing. He has not lost a game at Michigan Stadium since he became the head coach. That's right, 15 straight they're working on here. Undefeated at home last year, disappointing, but those losses were on the road or on neutral sites. Remember, they were beaten by Alabama down in Arlington, and in the bowl game, they lost to South Carolina. But here in Ann Arbor, he's perfect. Carlisle into the backfield. The middle is being blown open by Nick Martin, who is the younger brother of Zach Martin. So brothers in that offensive line.
Yeah, Martin in the middle becomes a starter, but Christian Lombard also You see the right guard, 74, coming over to pick up the linebacker, James Ross. Kind of sticking to their guns in that game plan again, trying to be balanced. There he's going to see some pressure here. He feels right now with those linebackers walked up. He brings the back end to help in protection, and now his receiver's got to make a play against man.
Hit on the release and gets it into Jones' hands for a big first down at the 35. Countess all over the receiver.
Yeah, Wilson, they outnumbered him up front. You saw an experienced quarterback there make the check. Even by moving the back end, they still don't have enough to be able to slow down Jared Wilson from coming in, but he does a good job of waiting for his receiver. We said, can you get separation? Can you get away from man-to-man? That time, T.J. Jones was able to beat Blake Countess.
Rolling to the right, incomplete. Wanted Jones again, and Countess was chasing Jones to that side of the field. Blake Countess, back from that knee injury that he suffered in the opener a year ago, and he has played well here tonight. You know, the issue for Notre Dame, not so much the offense. They've been able to move the foot, but they got big questions on defense. They've given the Wolverines 34 points in 3 quarters. Drops it off underneath. Jones could not quite get the first down, but 3rd and short coming up here.
Boy, great job of recognizing again the linebacker blitz, James Ross, number 15, who's lined up right across from T.J. Jones. He's going to come on the blitz. Basically, it's just a quick throw. It's like a hot read. Get the ball out of your hands fast and let T.J. Jones try to make a play before the safety Wilson can come up and tackle him short of the first down.
Jones is of All-American status. Yeah, that's how good he is as a receiver.
He really is. As Brian Kelly says, dynamic after the catch. I heard that a lot this week after the game that he played last week against Temple. If Bob Diaco can circle the troops on the other side, Notre Dame's doing just enough to kind of hang around on offense.
But Gardner is eating him alive. He's 17 to 25 for 248 and 3 touchdowns, and Gallen having a career night.
Just an inch or two short of the first down. Really an opposite feel of a Notre Dame team that we all watched last year. And they relied on their defense. They relied on special teams and field position, and the offense kind of trying to manage the game. Here we are week 2, and it's up to Tommy Rees and this offense to try to get him back in the game. He's got soft coverage both at the top and the bottom. He'll probably sneak it maybe here.
Amir Carlisle bangs across for the first down here as the final seconds start to tick down. James Ross making the snap.
I like the look of James Ross. Remember, they're playing without Jake Ryan, who's their best linebacker, expected to be back in October. He tore his knee up in spring football, but he is supposed to be back.
Into the 3rd quarter here in Ann Arbor, and we'll be back with the money quarter after these messages. Welcome back to the 4th quarter of Under the Lights 2 on ESPN Primetime, presented by Hampton Hotels. 34-20, Irish driving. First down and 10.
And he sees these linebackers walking up. He also has soft coverage on the slot receivers.
Movement. False start.
False start. Offense. 5-yard penalty. First down.
The entire right side seemed to move. Take a look at the right side of the offensive line.
See the linebackers walked up. Joe Bolden actually is walking up, kind of flexing and acting like he's going to come on a blitz. And the right side, Lombard and Stanley, they just moved in. That's where the crowd, maybe for the first time tonight, a factor with the communication for Notre Dame.
On 1st and 15, Tommy Rees flushed out, moving again to his left. And remember, that's when he threw the interception in the first half. Throwing back, it is a tough, tough throw. You even watch those rascals tomorrow in the National Football League and on Monday night at ESPN. Watch when a right-handed quarterback gets forced over to the left. Only the very best can square the shoulders and make a strong throw. It's tough.
Well, the best thing he did there is he didn't take a chance. I mean, he was able to get away from the pressure, and he just, even if Jones catches that football, it's about a 2-yard gain.
2nd and 15. Drop on over the middle of the tight end with a little bit of a screen. Helmet's off. 86 is out for a play.
There's some hits going on out there right now. That's Chris Watt, the left guard, trying to lead the way on a screen. Watch this. This is a good call. Notre Dame's or Michigan's defense is just sinking back, trying to keep things in front of them. There's the big block. There's a lot of bodies flying around. There's some contact going on out there. There's the big hit.
Desmond Morgan.
Desmond Morgan.
The Gerald Ford 48.
That's right.
Makes it 3rd and 3, and 18 was hit for a loss. Taylor.
It's a great call by Greg Madison. Not just the blitz by Blake Countess, 18, who timed it and disguised that blitz perfectly. But look how tight the coverage is. They were anticipating, based on their research and scouting report, the quick throw to the outside.
That puts the Irish in 4th and 4, down a couple of scores.
Now, by faking that snap count, now he has an idea of what Michigan's in coverage-wise. Now he's got to try to communicate the right call.
Gets a snap off in time, under pressure again, fires in zone, incomplete. Jones the intended target, and the ball goes over.
You know, earlier we saw T.J. Jones in the slot, and then Jared Wilson, a safety, was matched up against him. This time they moved the corner, who's a better man in coverage, Blake Countess. And the pressure, he just ended up throwing it up and hoping it would come through.
Great job by Greg Madison. Dialing up pressure like that. You are looking at the largest crowd ever for a college football game. Over 115,000 in the biggest house tonight. 115,109. The Wolverines up a couple of touchdowns. Toussaint continues to pound away for the home team. He's rushed for 48 yards tonight.
Go back to that pivotal play. You can see that Notre Dame, if you include everybody here in the back, they've got 7 to protect. Michigan brings 8. And look at Jared Wilson come free. Tommy Rees held the ball as long as he could until Wilson got to him. Unfortunately for Notre Dame, it just didn't give T.J. Jones enough time to finish his route. Rees had to get rid of the ball because Greg Madison brought one more than Notre Dame could handle.
2nd and 7. Gardner is going to get thrown for a loss that time as he was cut off, and Shoemate brings him down.
This big lead. Very important that Devin Gardner continue to play well. It's not at this point all about scoring touchdowns. Now it's about managing the game. Got to be careful. That helmet hits that football. Where this ball is right now, Notre Dame gets the ball back at the 10-yard line. It's kind of that next phase for Devin Gardner. He's made a lot of great plays. Now, much like A.J. McCarron, show that you can take care of a 14-point lead in the 4th quarter. Just manage the game from here and make good decisions.
On 3rd down, forced out of the puck, back in the end zone, going to go down and throw it away. That's intercepted. Touchdown! Touchdown, Notre Dame! He should have taken the safety. A learning experience, and it's a touchdown on the interception.
I just said manage the game.
Stephon Tuitt
Oh.
catches it in the air.
This is what Notre Dame needed. Austin Collinsworth gets to him. Brent Shimma gets to him as well. And what an effort. Keep in mind, Stephon Tuitt is 6'6", 322 pounds. making that play. Great effort by Austin Collinsworth to get to Gardner, and Gardner's going to learn from that. Manage the game with a 14-point lead in the fourth quarter.
Brings slides one to the right. Gardner distraught as he goes over to the sideline.
Michigan in the charge of timeout. They are challenging the ruling on the field of a touchdown for Notre Dame.
Well, there's a couple of problems here. Number one, I think Tua handled the ball cleanly. An instant replay would have stopped it themselves. Okay, I'm not sure that you need to challenge this. But secondly, I believe that extra point slid to the right.
Right.
Okay, and that would have been a huge miss in this game. But now, of course, if they rule it if they uphold the call of touchdown, they'll be back to try it again.
Everything we've seen up to this point, and they're showing different looks in the stadium here. Again, there's Collinsworth. Great effort containing and then getting to Gardner. Shimbo gets involved, and here's the effort right here by the big fella. I don't see the ball touching the ground
either. And what they will teach Devin Gardner is that in that situation, you're up a couple of scores. You've just got to eat it and take the safety. You cannot throw it up for grabs like this.
No. And by the way, there's nothing wrong with running the football there. With a third and long situation deep in your own territory, up by 14 in the fourth quarter, there's nothing wrong with running the ball. He's got the fingertips involved there at 322 pounds, just being an athlete.
It was 3rd and 11. And right now, if it stands, we think it will, but we shall see. That's the first interception Gardner has thrown tonight.
You always hear people saying things like, A.J. McCarron, he just manages the game. Sometimes there's nothing wrong with managing the game.
Here comes Epperly.
After further review, ruling on the field is confirmed. Touchdown Notre Dame.
How about Tua? You pointed out how big that rascal is. And he kept on coming on into the end zone and then made one of the great defensive plays that we have seen.
But Collinsworth and Shimbo deserve a ton of credit for the relentless pressure on Devin Gardner and forcing him into that position where he just felt helpless and threw it up into the air.
No question about this one. And the Irish move to within 1 touchdown at 12 minutes.
Here we go again.
ESPN College Football Primetime is presented by Hampton Hotels. Feel the Hamptonality. And in part by the all-new Buick Encore. The next big thing in luxury is small.
Now here we are, a 1-score game. Wolverines leading Notre Dame 34-27 with 12 minutes to go. Brinza kicks it away. He'll come out on the 25-yard line. And Herbie, let's go back to that great game 2 years ago. Under the lights, 1. And Michigan took this lead with Vincent Smith's TD catch.
Yeah.
And that was 1:12 to go.
Just a minute 12 to go. We saw 3 touchdowns in a hurry. The first was Vincent Smith, and then the big one here with Theo Riddick. And it looked like Notre Dame was going to secure a victory, but the final play, 30 seconds to go. Brandon, with a great call by you. Roy Roundtree ends up making a game winner from Denard Robinson, 35-31, and starting to feel a little bit like that game.
And remember what set it up, Jeremy Gowan.
That's right. That's right.
Gardner back, throws complete on first down. Picked up about 6 or 7 yards with Gowan.
Let's hope he gets
no,
up.
He was shaken up on that reception. Went down and he's staying down.
He's been everything to this offense. 8 catches, 184 yards on the night. By the way, I like that they put the ball right back in the hands of Gardner after that mistake and throw the football on 1st and 10, reestablish his confidence and his rhythm. See what happens to Gallen. It's like a fairly routine play.
And he slipped.
Yeah. Great to see him up.
I wonder if there was a little twinge in that right ankle, but he's going over to the Michigan sideline here. You're talking about Devin Gardner, Herbie, and what a fine young man he is, from a big family, raised by a mother out of Inkster, Michigan. He has graduated in 3 years since coming here, and he's done everything. Wide receiver, backed up Denard Robinson, and now it's his Wolverine team. Here's a 2nd down and 3.
Well, here comes the safety right here. Notre Dame's trying to walk up Shoemate. Now they're going to fall back.
And there's a flag.
False start. Offense. Number 87. 5-yard penalty. 2nd down.
Funchess
actually flinched in the middle of Devin Gardner right as Devin Gardner tried to make his audible. Funchess is thinking about the snap count. Gardner recognized a blitz from Elijah Shoemate. Was trying to get his team in the right play. Tight end blew the assignment there.
2nd down and 8 as Shoemate moves around again. He's number 22, the safety. Play action rolling to the right. Bounces outside and gets pushed out around the 30-yard line. This will be around 3rd and 5 coming up here for the Wolverines.
You know, when you have a mobile quarterback who can run and throw and you're balanced, it puts a lot on the defense to try to manage both. Taylor Lewan a little bit slow to get up, coming to the Michigan sideline, and another player, there's Lewan. Hate to see him go off the field, especially on a 3rd down coming up, and the big tight end Funchess.
He's a little dingy. They're looking at his eyes. He's had some job here tonight. Blocking on Tuitt, Shimbo, Day. They've sent a whole variety of defenders after him.
Oh, he took a finger right into the eye. Ben Council. He's trying to go back onto the field. Let's see if this works out for him.
And Funchess is coming out.
As the line judge is talking to him, he's blaming it on Funchess and saying, no, he was the one who was hurt. I just went over to get some water.
There's Funchess going down.
By the way, Taylor Lewan won the discussion with the line judge. He's got to stay in. Give him credit, good negotiator.
Here's 3rd and 4. Diving incomplete. Gallen.
Rolling him away from pressure, and unfortunately, he just didn't get his feet set. It's one of the first throws we've seen tonight from Devin Gardner where he, again, rolling to his left.
That's
right. But watch his feet. Usually he gets his feet set. That time he didn't get them set, and then it was almost like a jump pass.
TJ Jones is back.
Affected his accuracy there.
Deep, you're right, Irving. So shanked that one. He's going to give the Irish good field position. When you come back, 10:44 remaining in Ann Arbor. Well, a program reminder that SportsCenter is airing on ESPN News right now, but after the game, stay tuned for SportsCenter here on ESPN. And some of the stories are covering Manziel and Murray. Big games for Texas A&M in Georgia, and Miami stuns Florida. Turnover-prone game for the Gators. First down and 10. Tommy Rees and the Irish trying to rally for the tie here in the fourth quarter, and Atkinson up the middle. And he is just short of the 35-yard line.
Brent, look at the safeties from Michigan and look at the depth that they have. Notre Dame feels that when these Michigan safeties are back like that, they can control the line of scrimmage, and they've got to be able to run the football with that too-high safety look. Good check up front that time by Tommy Rees.
And that 21-yard punt certainly gave the Irish good field position here, and they're trying to make the most of it. To the right and complete to Brown. First down, Notre Dame on the move.
So you get a too-high safety look, and you run the football. Michigan adjusts. They give you a one-high safety look with one safety in the middle, and now all of a sudden you've got softer coverage out here, and you can try to execute in your passing game. That's exactly what they did there. Nice job. Good reads again. Tommy Rees calling a lot of this from the line of scrimmage.
On first down, deep right. Jones juggling as he went out of bounds, so it's incomplete. I think you saw him. You had a good view as he came out of bounds. He was juggling that football.
A great throw by Tommy Rees, but just a hair late. Because even if he didn't juggle it, because of when the ball was thrown, he just pushed him into the sideline because of the timing off just a bit. Great job taking a shot there on 1st and 10. With the timing just off. What an effort there by Jones.
2nd and 10 for the Irish.
There's the freedom that he has at the line of scrimmage.
Rolling to the left. That time snapped down by Nicholas, the tight end. Gordon was the defender, and Rees took a hit.
Yeah, he sure did. James Ross got through there and recognized the pressure that Michigan was going to try to put on him. Ross comes through right through the middle. He holds it, tries to make an accurate throw, and he does.
But it puts the Irish in a 3rd and long situation. 3rd and 8. Rees almost intercepted at the 10-yard line by Ross, who has been very active here in the second half. Had a shot at that pick.
You look at Tommy Rees here. Ross is here. Here's Jones, who's coming across. And I think he underestimated the athletic ability of Ross. I don't know if he thought Ross might sync with T.J. Jones and follow him across, but he just drops back into coverage. And Notre Dame catches a break, the fact that Ross drops the interception.
And they will go for the field goal, the long field goal here. Still a lot of time left, and this is a 40-yarder for Brenza, and he tacks it on. 34-30. Wolverines lead it by 4 with 9:15 remaining. NFL season opens tomorrow, and ESPN with a doubleheader on Monday night. Eagles, Redskins. Then at 10:15, the Texans will take on the San Diego Chargers, and unfortunately, we were told that Manti Te'o, because of an injury, will not be able to play for the Chargers. He'd been having a very, very good preseason.
Excited to watch the Eagles and Chip Kelly. Cannot wait to see how Chip does in the NFL this year.
Absolutely, it'll be fun. Got another touchback. Herbie, let's take a look at tonight's good hands play brought to you by Allstate. No question about the good hands play.
No, a mental mistake by Gardner, just putting the ball up under the pressure of the Notre Dame defense. What an amazing play by Tuitt. Over 300 pounds, soft hands to make that, and really a turning point in the football game as far as momentum, not just on the scoreboard.
So let's see what Brady Hoke and the Michigan coaching staff, without Borges calling plays, come up with here. This is a big drive. They lead it by 4. They've got a first down and 10. Toussaint is the running back. Play action, fire, incomplete, and now it is 2nd and 10. Throwing to Funchess on first down.
With the way this game is gone, you have your Al Borges and you're watching this game. In the first half, things could not have gone any better. You've got 27 points up on the board. You're up by a couple touchdowns, and you're aggressive with your play calling, and all of a sudden, things start to get a little tight at 34-30. Is he going to be aggressive here? We just saw a 1st and 10 pass, or is he a little bit more conservative and cautious?
Reese checking with the coaches upstairs.
Notre Dame's overloading the line of scrimmage, leaving their corners out there isolated, and they back out of it.
Toussaint breaks free in a foot race. Big run. Toussaint to the 46-yard line with that run, and that is a huge 22-yard run for the Wolverines. Jackson wrestles him down.
Matthias Farley's got to make this play for Notre Dame. Great effort by Toussaint, but watch him right there. Stop and go, and 41 grabs air. If he makes that play, it's 3rd down and 5. What a cut by Fitz Toussaint.
8:48 remaining here in the 4th quarter.
Showing it again.
Toussaint again behind the left side. Glasgow and Lewan over there. Nix hit him first.
And they walked back Jalen Smith. You can see before this snap, the blitz, they showed it before the ball was snapped, and then they slanted the entire defense into the sideline. They took away the running game there with a great job of just slanting. Late disguise and then slant this way, and they took away any running lanes that Toussaint may try to find.
2nd down and 9 as a result of that. Gardner lobs it wide open. Coming out of the backfield that time, Toussaint. There was nobody who picked up the running back. A breakdown with the defense, and it's 26 yards.
Here we go. It wasn't anybody individually that got beaten on it. As you said, it was just flat out a blown assignment. Nobody takes Toussaint out of the backfield, and a mental error late in the game with the game on the line by the Notre Dame defense.
A little bit of a toss play, and Toussaint, without much running room, is eaten up, and that's a loss.
Dame will, down in this area, shoot their linebackers through gaps and roll the dice to a certain extent. When you do that, you leave your defensive backs out there one-on-one, but I think it's really the chance you have to take.
2nd down and 12.
Tight coverage.
Over the top, end zone, incomplete. But the target. Double coverage that time. Shoemate was back there.
It was a heck of a battle there by Shoemate, who's a sophomore, and Jake Butt, who's a freshman out of Pickerington, Ohio, in Columbus. Kind of going back and forth, pushing on one another. Ball's thrown a little bit further. Butt makes that play. They said he's been one of the biggest surprises for this offense. He arrived early, came back in January, went through spring ball, and they said they didn't realize how athletic he is. He's been a great addition along with Devin Funchess with the tight ends.
3rd down and 12. Sideline intercepted. Picked off by Jackson. But there's a penalty flag. Hold on now. He was out of bounds as he picked it off. The ruling is incomplete, but there's a flag.
On the defense.
So it wouldn't matter if he'd have been inbounds or not.
Automatic first down.
So it's an automatic first down on the pass interference. So where he came down is now irrelevant. Watch the interference.
How many times have we seen Michigan hit the back shoulder fade? Let's take another look at that. Bennett Jackson was thinking back shoulder fade on third down. He felt that he was interfered with.
So they'll spot the ball, the 15-yard line, with a 1st and 10 and 6:42. Toussaint. Couple of tough yards. You know, it is interesting, Herbie, in how Borges has called plays. He's not afraid to have Gardner put it up at any time. I mean, it shows you the confidence that the Michigan coaching staff has in this young man. I mean, they have gone all out here in the fourth quarter.
And they're versatile, and how they're attacking. And we'll go back and look on that call, because you know there are a ton of Notre Dame fans on that pass interference call. We'll go back and look at that. But you're right, the versatility and the trust is pretty remarkable for really a true first-year starter.
Rolling to the right, to it in pursuit, drops it off underneath, completes it to his big, tough tight end. Punches. Fox working to bring him down.
Go back and take a really close look. As I said, Jackson's anticipating. Well, I don't know. I think both guys, the fact both guys are looking at the football, according to the officials I've always talked to, both guys are entitled to a little bit of pushing and shoving.
Third down and 5 coming up here. 5:25. Throwing on third down, middle, juggle incomplete, and another penalty is called. That's Farley defending Funchess.
This time, Brent, I think it is the right call. I don't know about the last one, but this time Farley just grabs on.
Defense number 41. Ball will be placed at the 2-yard line. First down.
Farley's 5'10", and Funchess is 6'4". Pretty big advantage. On the left-hand side there, the big tight end's just trying to pull away, and Farley just grabbing onto him. I mean, he had a hold of him the entire time he was on the route.
So both of these pass interference calls come on third down. Huge penalties against Notre Dame. Michigan says, thank you very much. We'll take them. It's 1st and goal. Toussaint is behind the fullback. Play action. Gardner sprinting, going to keep it. Not going to get to the end zone. In fact, he's thrown for a loss. Calabrese is there.
Again, go back to what you said about Al Borges. We've been talking about how he's been opening things up here. 1st and 10, play action, giving Devin Gardner the option to run it in or to slip the ball into the flat to his fullback. Fullback was covered. He tried to make something happen there, and a bit of a risk. But instead of Gardner throwing it into traffic, he just eats it, sets up a 2nd and goal.
Notre Dame can't be too sure that Michigan's going to keep it on the ground here either. 2nd down and goal. Gardner has thrown 32 times, completing 20, and a timeout is going to be called by the offense. Brady bringing him over. So that leaves Michigan with 1 timeout. And of course, we've mentioned this all night, but College Game Day will be at Texas A&M next Saturday. And that's the site of the big Alabama-Texas A&M game. Thursday college football this week. ESPN2, so there's 2 games.
I think you're flying into host that, I heard, on Thursday to join me.
You're going to go in early with the game, right? Oh, by the way, I loved, he may be wrong, but I loved your buddy Corso's pick today. And don't be scared of the chickens. You know, he says, win one for the chicken.
You never know what he's going to pull out of the bag behind us.
You be careful down there if he finds an elephant.
That's what I'm thinking.
Holy Toledo, man. That'll shake the setup. You better get Lee Fitting ready to get some special things under that deal. All right, here we go now. 2nd down and goal.
Notre Dame has has got to sell out against the run, even though there's always that chance. It's play action, and here comes Devin Gardner on the edge. You have to, just because, I mean, at this point in the game, you get down by 2 possessions. I don't know if you're going to have enough opportunities to get back into the game. They got to hold into a field goal on this possession.
Yep. Borges whistled up a pass. Touchdown! Dillio, Drew Dillio. And as Herbie just mentioned, that, folks, could be the dagger. The 2 pass interference calls, huge in that drive. But Al Borges' play calling and his confidence in old 98 has really paid off here tonight. Gibbons tacks on the extra point.
Both of them, as you said, Brent, on 3rd down. The first one, in my opinion, was marginal. That back shoulder fade, a little bit of pushing. I think Jackson puts himself in position. He didn't end up making the interception, but I don't know if he interfered with the receiver. This one, Farley definitely interfered with Funches to give Michigan great position. And then you put Dillio, who's very, very dangerous with his option routes, stacked up behind the tight end. It's just what a great, quick little move there, where he gets matched up against the outside linebacker, Jalen Smith, or actually it's the safety, Russell rather. Gives him a little outside move and then back in. That's strictly just an option route. That's a feel between the receiver and the quarterback, back inside. It's a Wes Welker type of move. And a touchdown.
On the sideline.
He was here 2 years ago. He's not quite sure yet. He's not believing just yet.
Yeah, he knows what can happen.
That's right.
The Irish take this kickoff back for a touchdown, and hello, it's game on.
Right.
Out of bounds. So I didn't have an opportunity, and I want to go back on this promo for Sunday Night Baseball, because Herbie was beating me up as I was reading this. Puig and the Dodgers trying to hang on against the Cincinnati Reds. That is a big one. I mean, the Reds are coming.
The Red Legs are coming. They took 3 out of 4 from the Cardinals and won the first 2 against the Dodgers, who a lot of people think are the team to beat, them and the Braves in the National League. They're going for the sweep tomorrow against your guy Puig on Sunday Night Baseball.
So you're battling the Cardinals and the Pirates, and 2 of those 3 figure to make the playoff.
And I don't want anything to do with the one-game playoff. That makes me nervous. I'd rather win the division.
Spoken like a true fan. First down and 10 now. Here's Reese, and he is sacked. Back at the 25, Brennan Beyer. He was a rush end at one time, and he rolls in.
Frank Clark also does a nice job pushing through the left side, the big left tackle, Zach Martin, forcing Reese to step to his right, and there was Beyer. You know, when Michigan can get pressure with 4 like that, that's tough.
On 2nd down and long. Complete to Brown and back to the original line of scrimmage. Gordon brings him down, and so here's your 3rd down. Obviously at 3:30, it's 2 downs to try and pick up the 9 yards here.
TJ Jones is in the slot up to the top. He's kind of looking over at Brian Kelly for some instructions. They move Blake Countess, the corner, over top of it.
On 3rd and 9, middle, got it. Nice throw down the middle to Nicholas for the 1st down.
They rush 4, and Nicholas does a good job of avoiding the contact by James Ross. James Ross tried to initiate some contact, but at 270 pounds, he actually is pretty nimble getting around Ross. And in front of the safeties is where Reese put the football.
Inside of 3 minutes now on this 1st down. Slant, caught, another first down. Daniels picks up 12 yards. He's just shy of the 30-yard line. Taylor with the stop for the Wolverines.
And of course, with college football, you get a first down, the clock stops, and all of a sudden you pick up a couple first downs. You move into Michigan territory, and not a whole lot of time has come off the clock.
Trailing by 11, 2:42. Fires, complete again. And a good battle by Nicholas for that first down.
They're doing everything they can to hold on to those timeouts. Obviously, the more first downs that they're able to pick up and stop the clock, the better Tommy Rees. He's frustrated right now. Brian Kelly is with the officials.
He's very upset that they didn't stop that clock right away on the first down. He thought it was pretty easy.
Michigan's trying to keep everything in front and trying to hope as much clock can come off as possible on this drive.
Pocket holes, goes deep, end zone incomplete, and Brown was out of bounds. So Tommy Rees with another 300-yard game for the Irish, 27-48. 2 touchdowns, but that one costly interception, remember, back in the first half.
With these 2 safeties back here in the back, you've got to attack into the interior of Michigan's defense.
They do keep this one underneath O'Leary Jones, and he's short of the first down at the 10-yard line. Desmond Morgan.
The windows are very, very tight on the outside. Here, because they didn't get out of bounds or pick up that first down, you can see valuable seconds ticking off.
I'd have been tempted to burn a timeout there with all 3 of them. Stop that clock from moving. Rees fires complete to Jones. Now that'll stop it. He's out of bounds.
Out of bounds and picks up the first down. This is where Jones is always a factor, and so is the big tight end, Troy Nicholas.
They need a quick score here. Onside kick. Following that, they scored. The good hands people for Michigan better get ready.
You take your shots into the end zone. That way you avoid having to use any of your timeouts.
Looking for the quick strike. Rees from the middle. Deflected. Intercepted. On the deflection, Blake Countess again.
We saw a ball earlier deflected, and it worked in the favor of Notre Dame in the exact same location on the field. This time, that ball had some heat on it and actually went off. It looked like at a foot of Ramon Taylor, number 6. You see this ball is hummed. This ball is coming. It goes through Carlisle, off the foot of Taylor, and then up into the air to Countess. That off of his knee and up into the air.
So Blake Countess with 2 interceptions. And those are the first 2 of his career. How about a night coming back from knee surgery last year. And now the Wolverines working on that clock. Take another look at this because
Tommy Rees, I think, felt he just had to get rid of the football right in the middle of the defense. Anything can happen, as we've seen tonight. Brian Kelly, of course, has a few words for his quarterback. I think Tommy Rees says he's sitting in there, and that pocket's starting to close in on him. He's waiting for something, and he just fired it in there to Amir Carlisle.
Was it first down?
Yeah.
And that's, I think,
he's probably trying to tell
that's
him
a big point for the coach.
Throw it wasn't the goalpost.
If you got 4th down, you go ahead and do that.
Yeah. Take a shot.
But first down, you gotta be a little bit careful.
Yeah.
Throw it away, throw it on the back of the end zone.
Yeah.
Okay. They were on the 6-yard line with a 1st and goal. And that's not what you want to be doing, is trying to force it into that small window. So the Wolverines are on the brink. Remember a year ago, they turned it over, what, 6 times? Do I remember correct, in South Bend?
Yep.
They had something like 5 consecutive passes picked off. Somebody told us, I don't know if I'm right about that, but it was a turnover fest by the Wolverines, and Nix brings down Toussaint with authority.
And if Michigan's able to hold on to the victory, and there's no reason to believe they won't, you start thinking about the big picture for Michigan and getting into conference play in a few weeks. It's going to be a tough offense for the Big Ten to be able to try to slow down because of Gardner. Gardner's going to grow. He made a few mistakes tonight, but obviously he's still learning. And what we're seeing is a balanced attack and a quarterback that can hurt you with his feet and also with his arm.
So Akron, coached by Terry Bowden. The Zips will be next coming in here. And then they go to Connecticut, Minnesota. Road games at Penn State, at Michigan State, at Northwestern, November 16th, and at Iowa. And then, of course, they will host Ohio State.
Look at that November, Brent. At Michigan State, Nebraska, at Northwestern, at Iowa, and Ohio State.
Could be a November to remember.
Yeah, that's when it really gets serious for Michigan.
The Ohio State game could be so good, let's do it all over. Whether they could play the last game of the season and then go to the championship if they both win the divisions. Old 98, Devin Gardner sits down with the first down. So he's honored tonight, presented with the Tom Harmon number. Legendary 98. Takes the number 12 off. You don't tug on Superman's cape. He had a brilliant football game here tonight. Made that one error that kept Notre Dame in it. But otherwise, 21 of 33, 294 yards. He rushed for 82 yards. He has thrown for 4 touchdowns and run for another. Devin Gardner is the man of the hour in Ann Arbor, as the Wolverines will just take a knee now.
You know, Brett, we've waited to see Devin Gardner take the reins of this offense. We talked in the offseason about what it could potentially mean to Michigan's offense. And we all talked this morning about this is when we really find out how good he can be with Al Borges calling the plays and Devin Gardner's ability to run and throw. Tonight, we got a glimpse and a taste of much more and what's to come this year from Michigan's offense.
Let's go down now to Heather Cox.
Brent, thanks so much, Coach. You remain undefeated as the head coach of the Michigan Wolverines. What was the key to getting to 16-0 tonight in this environment with this rivalry?
Well, I think our kids hung in there. Our offense did a nice job. Defensively, we had to make a stop. We made a stop, and, you know, it's one of those ball games.
Yeah, it's certainly undefeated in this stadium. And, Coach, what did you learn about Devin Gardner and his growth tonight?
Well, we think he's a pretty good quarterback, and I like what he does for our team. Obviously, we got one little play in there we got to clean up, but he did a nice job for us.
And, Coach, certainly a coming-out party for this new pro-style offense. Is this the future of Michigan offense for the next couple years?
Well, I think so, as long as they'll have us.
And that future is also Devin Gardner. Coach, congratulations. Devin, congratulations on a great win, wearing the new number. That hurt, huh? Come on.
That did hurt.
Wearing the new number 98. How inspired were you by the honor of wearing Tom Harmon's number?
Such an honor. You know, the things that he did, you know, got into a plane crash and survived it. You know, the things he did on the field, but off the field, he was a great person. And I just feel honored. They feel like I'm that type of person if they allow me to wear his number.
Things got a little bit closer than you probably would have liked in the fourth quarter with the interception in the end zone. What did you learn from that moment?
Oh, just don't. That was one of the causes of the interception. Desperately avoiding the sack. And I'm just happy our defense, you know, they came out, they continued to fight for me and for the offense, and then we practiced finishing all summer and finishing everything we do, and tonight we finished.
How good does it feel right now in front of the biggest crowd ever in the Big House to get this done?
I mean, I can't even explain it. I mean, I'm pretty sure you can see the look on my face and my teammates, how good it feels. I mean, I just can't even explain it right now.
Pretty big smile. Congrats, Devin. Brent, back to you.
Thank you, Heather. Derby, your final thought.
Well, you just heard from a guy who's going to have a great year, and he's a class act. And when your leader is that kind of guy, that gives you a chance to do some special things. He's very, very humble. This is his night. He deserves to celebrate and enjoy it. In Michigan, I think, pretty excited about what they have this year as a football team. Notre Dame's got to regroup, get ready for a game next week against Purdue in West Lafayette.
41-30. The Wolverines win it. And you know, like Herbie said, we will follow the Fighting Irish, see if they get back on the winning track when they take on Purdue. And a reminder, don't miss the debut of our new music video by Eminem. That'll be at the opening of the broadcast next Saturday night on ABC. Big win for Brady Hoke and the Wolverines here tonight over Notre Dame. Right now, let's send you to SportsCenter. Take it away, guys, gals.